There we are. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today?
Good.
Good. All right.
It just sums it up. And you wanted the second we went live, of course.
All good? And what was yours?
I'm in character. That's all.
Nice.
We have, in case chat wants to know why Josh is subbing in for Neil today, it's because if you didn't hear the story 2 weeks ago, Neil's cat, while its mouth was all like drugged up because Neil likes to give his cat lots of drugs.
Is that Neil's room too?
Yeah, Josh is at Neil's house. Yeah, he's keeping Chloe company while Neil's away.
Oh, dude.
What? No, not good.
Baffett went into this. I was expecting just a picture of Josh. I didn't expect a picture of Josh photoshopped into Neil's background.
No, it's all good. Neil and Josh have a really good relationship. I mean, Josh just isn't like how often Neil's, sneaking up behind him. But hey, But anyways, so if you heard the story last week or last session, 2 weeks ago, I don't know, whatever it was, his cat broke its teeth because cats are dumb. So Neil was like, I know what to do. Let's make my life more difficult to bring the cat to a dentist because that's going to work out great. So Neil this morning is bringing his cat to a dentist to have its teeth be looked at, which is honestly important. And a broken canine on a cat can't be good. So it'll look funny.
I believe they're
The
actually
cats
getting
make fun of it. No, I thought he said crowned.
Did you say crown? I thought it was...
Now I'm going to go read.
Oh, just tooth fixed. Never mind.
Yeah. So he didn't say either pulled or crowned. He just says
Yeah, I
fixed.
love how we both just had an assumption. And our brain just filled it in. Brains are weird.
Okay, I just asked him straight out. Now we'll have an answer. And then we can know who's right. Jake, what's your guess? Capped, crowned, pulled, something else? What?
I don't know. Capped, crowned, both. Pulled as well.
What? What? You can't be Switzerland. Hi, Raul. Bye, Raul. Raul, I got to DM you later on for something anyways. But anyways, go ahead, sir. Anything else or no? Just Switzerland?
Yeah. I don't have an opinion because I
Okay.
don't
Both.
remember.
They'll crown the tooth and then pull it.
Remember something about a root canal or something?
I think that happened last time. I don't remember. Either way.
I think that's actually what he said. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. He started talking about Artie. We all just kind of zoned out because he just
no,
goes on
root
for
canal,
hours.
root canal and brackets. So it's root canal. There we go.
Well, it looks like I was the only one that was right.
That was what happened last time, not
Switzerland
this time.
Strikes again.
No,
Excuse
that's
me.
this time. That's
No.
this time.
But they have to fix the
Switzerland
broken tooth.
strikes again.
But they have to fix the broken tooth. You can't just root canal it. It just removes the nerves and the pulp.
Oh, that gave me a shiver. I hate that.
I literally just had a root canal
Yeah,
a few weeks ago, or several weeks ago.
I think I just have like a thing with teeth and mouth stuff because like I have had teeth pulled that had insanely long roots because they didn't have adult teeth underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not pleasant.
I bet. No. The root canal I got was extra difficult because of the when they went in there, they're like, oh, you have 4 roots, not the standard 1 or 2 or 3, and 2 of your roots have extreme angles in them, and our equipment isn't designed to bend like that. So, but luckily it worked out.
But I have overcrowding and missing teeth.
Yeah, don't you love that? So much fun. I mean,
Yeah, I have a bunch of baby teeth that are permanent because
Yep.
the adult teeth don't exist.
God, don't you love Was it oral
Oh,
hygiene?
and
Dentistry is so weird.
eventually I'm gonna have to get my wisdom teeth out because they're coming in like right angle, coming into my teeth, just like ready to bulldoze everything.
That one's kind of common though. Having what are they called?
I know, it's
Impacted
just all together. It's just like, oh, come on.
yeah. Mixed with the rest.
Fuck you, teeth.
All right, I'm gonna try to eat my pancakes real quick while you guys do the recap. So, I will let you. You want to let Jake do it this time? Jake seems to know what was up when he was mentioning it in Discord chat. So.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I did a recap. All right.
You can't always have Cell, Neil, and Tesh carry you there, Jake.
Of course. Thank you. We did the investigation in the inn or whatever it was where the battle took place between Black Knights and the Perrin forces. So we got there, had a bit of an investigation, and Pan turned up. Now the cat's out of the bag with her. We know who she is. She knows who we are. And we came to the conclusion that we should try and get the Arcane Congress to do a Speak with Dead on one of the bodies. It was suggested that it would be better to do it on the commander. I can't remember why.
He'd be more willing because they can.
Yeah.
They can work around the. They cannot lie, but they can evade.
Yeah. And so someone went to ask his partner. Then while that was going on, Gallon had a little bit of a thing happen over at the barracks where people attempted to, or maybe successfully burnt it down. They were setting fire to it.
It started with people raiding it. And then people throwing Molotovs, but I don't know how much of the Molotov thing was planned because everyone was pulled out of there by this is where I always forget to get my notes.
Gallon was shooting innocent looters. You know what I mean?
I warned them. They weren't innocent.
I remember that. Yeah, that was good.
I warned them, and they stayed. They fired wildly into the mist and killed one.
They had their iRobot moment. They were warned by a robotic voice. They didn't listen, and then all hell broke loose. And they started catching them arrows.
I've not seen that.
They
movie in a
one
long
of them,
time.
didn't you?
Now, is iRobot? That's the one where Will Smith walks up and slaps the comedian in the face, right?
That's the one.
I can't find the name of.
And then
been a
all
few years.
comedians just turned against the rest of humanity. I think
The
that's
Centurion of War is the one that pulled everyone back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they said.
Centurion of
But
War
that seems
gave
bit
orders to
suspicious
pull
there.
literally everyone out of the place to his location, regardless of the fact that at a separate location the BC had been killed. And
Norway.
it was
He told all these soldiers to move back.
anyway.
I enjoyed that too much.
So I don't know how much of the whole civilians raiding it was part of the plan of the people who wanted the body back to try and get the body back. Because that was the other thing that happened.
Yeah, the Lopa, was gonna steal the body, but then ended up losing an arm and a leg, and they're alive.
13 came and saved the day, and then proceeded to really complicate things by dropping us right next to the Arcane Congress guy.
I'm pretty sure he looked at the guy from the Arcane Congress too, like directly at him, and was just I don't care.
Yeah, no, he straight up did. He said something too as well, but I can't remember what it was. But it was so like, oh, you just made everything so much worse.
Yeah, this is an issue. Hopefully, I really don't know how to deal with.
I don't know how we're going to solve that.
One step at a time.
Yeah. Now we have a Lopa body plus an arm and a leg.
Yes, we do. which is with you.
Yes, and I'm not allowed to use my psionics at all until 13 gets back to me with some sort of device to hide my psionics.
Yeah, that's right.
What was I gonna say? The thing with Abstergo 13 is he doesn't give two flying poopy cacas about the geopolitical
I know.
situation going on. He only cares about one thing. He's unfortunately very single-minded in that.
What does he care
regard.
about?
The Lopers.
The Lopez situation.
Does he like them?
He just cut off the arm and leg of one, so I'm going to say no.
Are you not one of the original PCs in Aurorum?
Hey, don't we kill other people
I will say
from
we have
Peridot?
never been in a situation
doesn't
where...
mean we don't like Peridot.
Yeah, we have never been in a situation where we have gotten any kind of indication from 13 about his opinions on Lopez.
This is the first time I've come across 13
this is our
in
first
any
time
campaign.
in game.
My first glimpse at 13 in any campaign.
Wait.
No, you encountered...
No, I didn't.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Were you not there?
Nope.
But, like, Tesh was there. And Neil was there. Because remember the ooze girl? Remember the ooze girl? And like Neil turned...
I had to leave early in that session.
Oh,
that
he
was
did.
The one with Regicide,
that's right. He did. Yeah.
So Grishka
was in a different plane. No, he wasn't. It was Kroll.
No, it wasn't Grishka.
Oh, so Kroll was there. So your character was there. You just bounced on us. That's on you, bro. That's on you. That's not.
Even so, this is our first indication in our campaigns of what 13's opinion towards the Lopez is. And I assume it's not good considering he cut off an arm and a leg.
I mean, they just keep trying to take this body, man. We got to do something about it.
Well, the thing is, I think me using my suit is what lured them to the building. So I got to not use my psionics.
Yeah, so it's funny because he's so anti-Lopers, exposing the Lopers to another group is beneficial for him. You know, in case you're like, why the hell would he do that? Why the hell would he just like leave it with you guys? He doesn't know you. It's like, well, that's true, but he can sense Tesh, and he does know Tesh. Remember, Tesh.
Yeah, he knows Gallon. So
and
now he technically knows my opinion of you. He searched my mind with regards to you, so he knows my opinion of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Well, look, at the end of the day, we're like, bro, we didn't do it. It was that weird guy that just teleported in here and then teleported out. I don't know any more than that.
Oh, that's a lie. Luckily, discern lies is a spell.
Can you resist? Is there a saving throw for that?
Most spells have a saving throw or something like.
They can tell if you resist it, though. I think, can't they?
Discern lies.
I don't think AC can just start casting spells on Peridot military.
I remember there was this whole thing we had with the throne room and the AC and them trying to use truth things and having to be careful.
Oh, that wasn't discern lies. That was zone of truth.
Yeah.
Zone of truth. You know if people successfully resist.
To do that too, though, if you remember, they didn't just cast that.
Correct. Yeah.
They
showed respect to the fact that you guys are rulers.
Yeah.
To your little hovel.
Well,
like, we are kings, and they like look around at like the three houses, and they're like, "Are you now?" And you're like, "We're building a brewery." And like, okay, kings indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
right. You got like an Anheuser-Busch logo on like the brewery being put up.
Listen, we're kings just a one-horse town, all right? It's still a town.
Okay. So, one-horse town. It's actually a donkey. So, okay. So then, literally dumped off, and you were about to cast that spell. You had sent somebody to go
the last thing that happened was just that he ordered me to protect the body, and I went and found a random room, deliberately not like an obvious room, and I locked myself in there with the body to make sure no one else comes for it.
Oh, you don't want to be there for the
not for the I think he wants to minimize. This was Viggo told me to do it, so I assume.
Let's just retcon it. If you want to stay, that's fine. I don't mind.
Then we're gonna have to explain the body and the arms to the
let's just say Tristan didn't go to sleep and he's cuddling them or something. I don't know. He's looking after them very well. It's up to you. If you don't mind missing the conversation, then it's fine.
I
It
don't
is
mind
really on
missing
you.
the conversation. I think realistically, I would be. Galen would be perfectly happy with missing the conversation and guarding the body right now. Given
I mean, I'm
everything
not
that's
going to lie
happening.
as well, Tash. I have no memory of what we were supposed to ask this guy. I cannot remember.
Oh, okay. We went over this, Scott. He also asked
We did.
the Arcane Congress guy for advice, but it's been weeks. So
It has been 2 weeks. He literally was saying, depending on the kind of question you're asking, you don't want to. So Jake asked 2 example questions, and he gave advice as to how to rephrase them. So that
yeah, and we can't remember what they were or how the rephrasing was.
I could readjust the phrasing again if I knew what his sample questions were. But the short version is,
okay.
don't be too specific because too specific gets you too specific an answer, and at other points in time, don't be too vague. So it literally depends on what you're asking.
The first one we wanted was describe everything that happened in this room until your death.
Yeah, that was kind of like his adjusted version of that versus like
yeah,
because
that way he has to
like,
describe everything, and
it was like who killed you or something like that. It's like, well, that's too. You know,
it might
I mean?
just give you a name and nothing more, and then you have nothing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna just think about your phrasing for a hot second there, and
that's one question, and we get 3, right?
I think it's 4 actually. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Okay, so that's question 1. What about question 2? What else do we have to ask him? So,
Speak with Dead's parameters are 1 per 2 caster level, and the caster level. Okay, no, it is 3.
Okay, 3. So we should save one question for like a detailed description of the person that attacked. If we get some sort of indication of who it is, like like one question can be like the elaborate question essentially. A lot more, we're gonna have to be a lot more careful than that, but that's what I mean.
Well, in saying that too, like we've got last 2 questions, and there is, if I remember correctly, also a higher ranking member of the Paradel military with us.
That's a good point. They may have a question based on stuff we don't know.
Something. Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So how about we start with that question, and then Scott, will you let us talk about the next question in meta before it is asked?
It's not a matter of whether or not I let you. The spell literally works like this: 1 minute per cast. It takes 10 minutes to cast. 1 minute per caster level, and then during that time, you're allowed to ask 1 question per 2 caster levels. So there is definitively an amount of time that you have. Like so.
Okay. Yes.
I can tell you that the caster level is 7.
Our characters are smarter than we are.
Yeah, but I'm saying you have 7 minutes. You have 7 minutes for the casting.
7 minutes.
Yeah. So 7 minutes to ask 3 questions. So
what I mean is, I would
be
helping Jake and figure out the questions, even though I'm not there, just because I
that's fine. Like if you're,
okay, cool.
The meta chatter to compensate for the lack of brain power compared to Viggo.
I mean, actually, realistically, I'm not allowed to. I guess communication might count as psionics. You know what? I don't have to. I'm just going to leave Virgil with you so he can observe everything.
All right.
Because I can later on. I can, once I'm safer, I can link up with them and gain all the memories back.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that way I will have witnessed everything in the room, Scott. Once I link up with Virgil again.
Of course.
I just won't remotely link up.
Because you don't want to have the telekinesis or sorry, the you don't want to have any of the what the hell's it called?
Psionics.
Psionics happening. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, not a problem to me. Okay, and so is
At this point, I just need to make you guys both just dedicated Virgil pouches.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good? Jake, are you ready to ask your questions?
Yeah. Well, we have the first one. We have a higher ranking person who's probably going to have some question at least. And then we can have an elaboration question.
And did you want to turn to chat at all about advice of how to ask these questions, or you think you got this, Jake?
I mean, if chat has any advice, post it.
So, chat, the way we're wording our first question is describe everything that happened in this room from when you entered to when you died.
I think we should expand that though and say everything from the moment like you entered
this building,
the premises.
Yeah, okay, the premises to when you died. Okay, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So from the moment you entered this premises to when you died.
Okay.
All right, so this is the first time I'm seeing this spell, so I'm interested in how that's going to work.
I imagine your character is
okay,
interested in how it works too.
That's a good point.
Very,
Steve said
very.
it's a command, not a question. Is that how that would that still work?
Oh, what do you mean by it's a command verb, not a question? I don't understand.
Technically, we're telling it to describe something rather than asking it.
You
that.
grant semblance of life to the corpse, allowing it to answer questions. You may ask one question per 2 caster levels. The corpse's knowledge is limited to what it knew during life, including languages it spoke. Answers are brief, cryptic, or repetitive, especially if the creature would have opposed you in life. And then there are other rules based off of alignment and so on and so forth.
So I'm asking metal-wise, Scott, does that count as a question or a command? Because that matters, I guess.
So which
The way
phrasing
we worded
specifically?
that. Describe everything that happened from the moment you entered the premises till when you died. Describe in detail.
Yeah. Would you please describe in detail so and so? You know what I mean?
Okay.
You're fine. I'm not going to be like, yes, I would. Like, I'm not going to be a dick in that way. You know?
Okay.
Because
It's
if you
just-
were
we're
going,
just
if you're
making
going
sure.
with her, she might try to pull that kind of BS. But you're literally going to the commander, and in theory, he should be willing and
yeah,
wanting
cool.
to assist you. Yeah. There's like
Okay,
this
cool.
idea. Yeah. There's a reason why you went for him. Now, just to pull it back to the game, because now that we've kind of re-deliberated, caught us back up for missing a week last week or what have you, and the week prior having to abruptly end early, which is frustrating as hell. I don't know how much it was for you guys. It was very much so for me.
Oh yeah, I saw. I remember watching your anger in the chat room afterwards.
It was just BS. It was a BS meeting, but that's fine. Let's not waste any
One of those
any more
things
time.
that like they wanted you there, but you really didn't need to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't run late today because Brittany has to do an interview this morning. Like more or less right after we end, she's gonna be sitting over there doing it. So, all right. So let's jump into it. You sent somebody over to speak to the let me get rank. I have my notes right here. To the BC's, the battle commander, Rylor's significant other, to go speak to them and get permission about, I believe, from his husband, about to make sure that he could, it'd be okay for you to do this. So I don't believe you sent any of the PCs. You sent an NPC to go handle this task.
Yes.
You just grabbed rando NPC, right, Jake? It wasn't like anybody specific.
I think I asked. Didn't I ask the whoever this other person is, the woman, the higher ranking person, if she knew who to send or to send some? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been a hot minute since the last time we.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
I mean, it was an NPC.
It wasn't a
guess.
named character, is what I know.
Yeah, I don't remember being a named character exactly. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So you send NPC X to go and handle the situation, but they're going to be gone for a period of time. It's not like they're just going to be like, burp, 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 burp. You know what I mean? They have to go there. They have to deliver the news. Your husband is dead. By the way, we kind of want to rip his soul from the beyond and ask it a few questions. So how do you feel about that? You know what I mean? So it's like somebody walking up to you in the hospital and being like, unfortunately, we couldn't save them. However, we have an opportunity to save somebody else if we grab their kidneys right now. It's like, I get why you're asking me, but oh boy, I have to process, you know? So,
yeah, it sucks, but yeah.
Yeah. So back to in-game as opposed to real world. And they're gone for a period of time. Like they're gone for, unfortunately, like a couple hours, a solid 2 hours, to the point where it's like twiddling thumbs, waiting for a response. But they do inevitably come back, to be clear. That being said, in the interim, the gnome looks at you and goes, so, what was that?
Your guess is as good as mine.
So yeah, that's perfect. He doesn't know her. It's
I
me
don't
that
know.
knows.
No, I have no idea.
Um,
It's like he'd be like, you would be familiar with teleportation more than I would be.
Not so much teleportation, to be clear, but yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. I mean, I don't mean to be kicking up dust, but it looks like he tried to lend us a hand. He says, trying to be comical about what was kind of like left behind.
Yeah, I mean, Viggo would chuckle at that. He has no, not that's fine. That's a, I cut people up, so.
Yeah. It's a good pun or what have you. Yeah. Or at least lowbrow.
No
But moving on.
reservations about laughing at that sort of thing.
Yeah. But he's like, seriously though, you have no idea what that was, because your companion seemed to have a degree of understanding. He reacted pretty. He showed up with them, and those pecs.
And he had a. Yes. Well.
13's usually shirtless.
Okay.
That is a detail I did not know, and that's hilarious.
Well, for him to enter in such a manner, it must have been an emergency. I've never seen the other person before, but last I left him, he was in the barracks, which you told us. What
I told you
us?
that the barracks are under attack. Yeah.
Which has seemed to come under attack. Maybe the hand was from somebody who tried to grab him, and Galen maybe cut the hand off. Maybe these are questions for a later time, I suppose.
Well, we're literally just sitting here and waiting. I won't lie. I'm kind of interested in seeing that body that was suspended through some sort of force manipulation. I don't know if they knew the spell telekinesis, but I wasn't actively trying to detect magics, but certainly I've cast it since, and I see no residuals. And it's a little strange. I wouldn't mind investigating it myself while we were waiting. We have the time, and I think he only went 2 rooms down the hall.
Maybe he did. Viggo would kind of contact Galen through Vigil. I mean, through Virgil.
There's no connection at the moment. I would have told you that there's no connection.
You have to make a connection, right?
I also don't want to make a connection at the moment because he said.
So let's take this back a step. You try to contact via Virgil, and it doesn't
I probably
work.
just think
It doesn't. Like you seem to get no connection backwards.
It's not even like static. There's just no connection at all.
Yep. So you would have to physically go over and be like, "Hello."
I wouldn't do that. So I'd turn to the gnome and say, "I'm sure we can probably arrange for you to do that. However, this may be a military matter, and I'm sure you can appreciate bureaucracy."
Diplomacy check on that one.
I mean, look at what we had to do to get.
No,
him
it was
here,
good.
right?
It was a good line. It was a good line. Like, I like it.
Funny.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you don't want to luck it or anything like that.
I think he likes you so far. So, but it's up to you.
I might luck it to see how much luck we have.
Go for it.
Just,
if we can stop him from questioning.
Wait. Scott has just said, "Go ahead." Exactly like that.
What does that mean? Oh, damn it! You threw me off. I was
surprised we have luck.
Prepared. I was prepared to laugh at you because I didn't know how much you had. But then you said that and you blooped it before I could pay attention. So if there was none, I wouldn't have been able to laugh. All right.
Well done. You did good.
You did good, kid. All right, moving on. Uh-oh. Percy's in frame. Chat wants a little bit more Percy. Hold on. Here we go.
My goddamn camera won't stop going yellow.
Oh, he ran off. Percy's like, fuck off, eh?
I swear he knows when like the camera's on him, and when he's in the back, he always sits perfectly in the background.
Yeah.
And then if you pay him too much attention, he zooms off.
Yep. He's like, love me. Love all my floof.
But not too much.
If I had to guess, Percy's like, if Percy could speak, I feel like he'd be like the Kevin Hart bunny from that movie. The movie where Kevin Hart like voice acted a bunny.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
that fits the personality as well.
Right?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys see him when he's like just chilling, but I mean, it's because it's late at night. During the day, he's exact opposite.
Right? I'm like, come at me.
Yeah.
I'll fuck you up.
Zoomies?
I'll fuck you up. I'm cute. I'm fluffy. I'm cute. I don't care if I'm small. I'll get you. Like, Secret Life of Pets. That's right. Kevin Hart and Secret Life of Pets. All right, cool. Now that we've just assigned Kevin Hart's voice to Percy, if somebody wants to make like a super clip of all the times Percy's been on cam and just superimpose like Kevin Hart lines on top of that. All right. Especially if it's the Kevin Hart stand-up special where he talks about being chased down by an ostrich. That would make sense for being in Australia too. That works. I know you guys have emus, not ostriches, but it still works. So
It's kind of the same thing, you know what I mean?
I just realized something we should probably make sure is if it doesn't come up in the describing of what happened when he entered the building to when he entered the room, we should make sure we confirm that you discovered that the other the Lycie, is that her name?
Lyson, yeah. Her name is Rylor. No, Vilfine.
No.
Vilfine.
Vilfine.
Yep.
Vilfine was a traitor. Just so that there's no confusion about that.
Yep, you have 3 questions, so just obviously based off of each individual, you'll react. So he goes, fair enough. Though, red tape and all that, certainly we both agree can be rather difficult. I think we both have that same itch to discover what that was. I know you do. He says, kind of looking down
he says that
at the
Viggo
bodies
leans in.
on the.
Viggo leans in and he goes, "And who do you think is going to get there first?"
Suddenly, I need to use the restroom.
Oh, he's not coming in that door.
He
It's
says,
gonna
but
go
he doesn't actually walk out the door. He's just being
Oh, there's now a Dead AC member here. What happened?
Oh God!
That is red tape. Indeed, quite the red tape. Pulling threads. So either way, he says, there's no way we can have it transported back in here so we can look over it while watching over these bodies aren't going anywhere. We could just go over there.
My friend, this could cost me my position. Like I said, the bureaucracy of it all.
Who the hell are you going to get in trouble with?
There'll be time later.
Who are you going to get in trouble with? And he gestures at the 2 commanding officer dead bodies right there.
They're not the only commanders in this city.
Indeed, they are the only commanders in the city. Otherwise, you just have a centurion.
No, there's another one, right?
A COW is a centurion of war.
Oh.
There's also the field commander, but Marilla is not in the city. She's outside of it.
Yeah, I see.
The word was sent to her. So he lets that linger.
Yeah.
See what your response is.
Listen. We all want to be first. And I think the Alchemist Guild might beat the AC to this one.
He looks and says, I'm genuinely curious about this thing. I'm curious if it knows what kind of magic it knows. I won't lie. It's distracting how much it is, how unique the thing is. Do you think that it didn't exactly look like a warrior? You know what I mean? It wasn't draped in armor. Didn't seem to have weapons at its side.
Yes.
Which leads...
No offense. You don't seem like a warrior either.
Indeed, I'm not.
I'm sure you are more than capable.
Oh, I have a couple of spells that I keep in mind in case things turn sideways, but let's be honest, they're few and far between. I don't properly prepare myself for combat on the daily basis. Now, if I'm going into a dangerous environment, well, yeah, I mean, if you're a high level, if you're going into a dangerous environment, obviously you're going to prepare a few extra, but we're in the city. I'm supposed to be safely under guard.
In this city?
Yeah.
He nods. Arcane Congress is neutral. In
I
this
love how
that
it's
is
supposed to be safely
That
under
is
guard. Points to the bodies of the commanders.
Yeah, but like you said, AC is supposed to be neutral.
I don't think
Fair play.
the rebels care about neutrality here.
Yeah, I don't also see them making it a public enemy of the AC, so the AC actually takes a side.
I guess that's true.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, they get to they're inside a it's like the Weirding Sisters of Dune. You know what I mean? Like they get to have this wonderful position of being above while still remaining neutral to most parties. So, but continuing.
Well, I don't remember what we're up to.
It's fine. He just goes. So I
Oh,
have to,
yeah, that's right.
I have to wait to get permission from the Centurion.
Of course, of course.
He shakes his head disappointedly, and reach into his pack, and I'll pull out a little snack and say, "I baked these last night. If you want one, and we'll just start having a snack and sharing one with you, and then we'll just chat like magical stuffs with you, and so on. Can you make me a fortitude save? It was arsenic. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Really wants to see that body. Really wants to see that body.
That's not going to go down well. The one person in this building you don't want to give poison to because they'll probably out poison it.
It was a joke
poison.
for Anno in
Glug,
Norway.
glug, glug, glug.
So, anyways, let's keep going. So, yeah. So you guys literally time
Viggo
passes. It's meh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very meh. So,
So it's like one of those like dry biscuits or something. It's just it's just dry. It's just a dry biscuit.
yeah, there's a little bit of
Not
flavor
really,
to
yeah.
it. You just you can't place it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It almost
No Tim Tam.
is that
you know.
formaldehyde?
No Tim Tam.
Yeah, no Tim Tam. I love Tim Tams. Funny enough, when I realized that like I can claim things like Tim Tams on my taxes, Tim Tams on my taxes.
What?
Because the Tim Tams came up in conversation while streaming, and the whole reason why they were ordered was because of a conversation while streaming. It is something that could be claimed as a work
Content.
expense for your taxes.
That's funny.
Literally, anytime
Anything you buy for the stream, you can write off.
isn't that nuts? Like
Yeah, that's good.
to me, I'm just like, okay, I just do what my accountant tells me to do. I'm just like, okay. So, but yeah, it's one of those weird, like if I drive to work while having a chat in Discord, that mileage counts. It's just, again, to me, weird. Voice chat, not text chat, to be clear, but let's keep going. So, I got my issue to this. So you, a time passes and you sent word to the person's lover, to their spouse. But you also, did you send word to the COW as well, or is it just you received word from the COW about the COW?
There is, like I said, there's a woman here of a higher rank than me. But it was either send word and seek permission to this from the COW or the spouse, and we went with the spouse.
Okay, gotcha.
And nothing's been sent to the other people yet.
Yeah, I haven't
I don't
unfortunately informed him. I haven't informed him of. No, wait. Did chat? Do you guys remember if I told him about the fact the COW pulled all the forces away from the barracks?
I believe you did.
Good. Okay, then I will. I told you that. So and he was very like the way he said it was like, this seems like there might be more to this.
So either way, because you guys didn't send word to the COW, it's literally the person comes back, and unfortunately, they don't return alone. You were called down. You were called out of the room that you're in, Jake. What?
Can I add one thing that I'm doing in the room by myself while I'm here?
Well, buddy, that
I want to write a full report of everything that's happened to me over the course of the day.
nice.
So I can just literally hand it to whoever's in charge once things are sorted.
Not a problem. So for you, Jake, there's a call to you because you're obviously the commanding officer inside this place right now. There's a call through the doorway. It says, there's a knock and a call through the doorway that says, BT, you might want to come out here.
I will come out here.
So one of the officers out in the hallway will say to you, hey, BT, you had asked for permission, for me to get permission. They didn't just want to give permission. They wanted to see their spouse.
Oh,
I figured as much.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, after you elbow deep. Is that what you said?
Yeah, but they're covered up, right? Yeah. That's okay. Let me go back inside. Make sure that they're presentable. Okay.
Yeah. So they say, what do I tell them?
They'll be allowed in a moment.
Take a deep breath. All right, and they will head back downstairs. I also was having somebody else is gonna go. That's right. I'll have her do that afterwards. So yeah. So they go downstairs. A few minutes later, I imagine you turn to the gnome. Do you say anything to him?
Can you press the digitation the blood around here, please?
Nods. I can. The issue is, if I do that, then it will disrupt the scene. Is this the end of the investigation?
That's a good question.
They did say they if I remember right,
I spent like several hours here documenting everything.
Yeah, if I remember right, the other person in charge actually said that they're going to trust his notes on the layout of everything and to tidy it up at one point.
Yeah, they did say that. Good. I can palm it off.
Yeah, I remember. I remember
palm
that
the blame off if
being
anything
said.
happens. Thank you, Tess, for reminding me of that.
I remember
press the
specifically they
digitation,
said
please.
that they would take he's documented the notes, they'll trust them and to tidy it up, but leave the bodies where they are.
Okay.
That was the key thing.
He would start doing a few prestidigitations. In the meanwhile, you would have another one come upstairs, and there'd be another knock on the door while he's doing the prestidigitation.
Yes?
Sliding the door open and popping their head in real quick, you see Pan standing there. And they go, hey there, BT. She says, hey there, Viggo. Is Triss around?
He's getting some sleep. We've all been up for a long time.
Nods. Galen then?
Galen is around.
Kind of like looks down the hallway. Gives like an indication.
Viggo yells down the hallway. Galen!
Triss rolls over in his bed, covers his head with his pillow. Fucking, why does he always...
Well, he should have been tight enough to sleep through it.
I would do that thing where the person stands half in, half out of the doorway.
She gives you like a smile and like a little wave, and she says thanks, and then we'll walk away from you to go over to Galen.
This is Pam, right? Pan.
Yes,
Pan,
as in like Peter Pan. Not like Pamela Anderson. Get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah. So you
my mind went to the gutter. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
As she
you shut the door. He
just...
keeps prestidigitation. She walks up to you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I assume you've been caught up to things then.
Yeah, more than that, actually. So when I was here earlier, I was speaking to Tristan, and he was trying to have me assist in investigating something that happened downstairs. I'm being honest with you. I was a little reserved with the magic I was willing to use because things were still unfolding. But it seems like much has settled. So I wanted to investigate it a little bit further. Do you mind joining me?
Yes, but give me a moment. I'm actually going to open the door and show her into the room.
Yeah.
And just...
What is that?
This is someone who tried to kill me earlier today. Also, this is someone who... someone tried to retrieve the body forcefully, points to the arms.
The arm and leg, yeah.
Yeah.
If this hotel couldn't get any more gruesome.
Yes. Would you mind just watching it for a second? I need to go retrieve something. And I would go get Virgil from Viggo.
Yep. So
just briefly, like, sup? Can
another
I have crystal?
knock.
Thank you. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave Virgil in there because if Virgil, like, it'll be one of those things where if Virgil then screams to Viggo something's happening, Viggo will know.
True enough.
Like, it's one of those things
won't
where
be able to do much about it though. No, but if they teleport in there.
No, but if you yell, then I can make connection to Virgil and know what's happening. The point is, Virgil makes a connection that something's already in there, so there's no point hiding at that point. So I just need something in there, constant watch, because now I can't trust leaving it in empty rooms now.
I mean,
so yeah,
that was where you were before, right? So
this is me. This is me, Tash, being paranoid, but it's also Galen being overly paranoid.
No, this is Scott getting you out of the room. So Regicide, when they're walking back from wherever they are, see a ladder. Hey, there's a ladder there.
Guys.
Say,
Regicide is hours ahead of you.
Yeah.
For them, it's already nighttime. For them, they're in a gambling den already at nighttime. You don't have to worry about them.
Okay. So I'm leaving.
There's
Virgil
no ladders
there,
up to the window that we
Pam.
haven't seen.
There are no ladders up to the window.
There's like giant painted arrows at the ladder. There's none of them.
No.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
I'm leaving Virgil in there, and I'll go with Pam down. Pan. Why do I keep saying Pam?
You guys are saying that a bunch of times before. And,
I know. I think we got it like lodged in the brain. Okay, going downstairs.
Okay, cool. So you guys, so you make your way downstairs to her, where she's gonna lead you out to the kitchen area, and then again, when you're out there, she'll lead you out to the back alleyway, where she's gonna kind of like talk you through the thing. So getting to that RP for a minute before we go back to Jake, she says, there was something that had transpired before. I'm sure Triss explained it to you, but to give you the quick and short of it, it seems as though when some of the people were killed, including potentially the commander and the Lyson, the BC and the Lyson, was someone that made their way in through the back door, killed them, and then made their way out. Triss had tracked it down to, and then points at the little puddle of viscera on the ground, to here, where then somebody must have used to prestidigitation like to cleanse themselves before going into the streets. Triss said that he tried to track them down but could find nothing from there. Like I said, I was being a little bit reserved with my magic earlier. I'm going to look further into it now and see what I can discover. And then she starts casting a spell. Now, I don't think you understand magic well enough to spellcraft this, do you? Because you have more of a sidecraft. Yeah.
Very much. Like, I would have the very minimum level of magic knowledge purely from my time in Malta.
But so that's not even AC magic. Yeah.
I was exactly. Not even the same type.
Galen
of
just stands there while she's casting fireball.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
So she's
cast nuke, cleanses the area. Turns out she was the hidden agent.
Are we the baddies? Right. Where's dice? Dice. I think I screwed this up just a smidge. I'm gonna make this just a hair.
And Scott, I'm slowly writing up all the things that I'm putting in the report that I'll send to you via Discord, because there's things that I'm deliberately omitting, like 13 and the teleportation.
Oh, I mean, there's some things that like you don't even have to say it. Obviously, you're omitting those because it's part of like your base concept, right? But feel free to write down whatever you'd like. So to go over the way that Greater Detect Magic works, which is actually a 2nd level spell, Greater Detect Magic is, it functions like Detect Magic, except you can get much more information, including, so additionally, when you use a standard action to concentrate on the spell, you can also study a creature within the area spellcraft to determine the last spell that the creature cast. Finally, you are able to locate and analyze signature flourishes and a magical aura that allow you to match a spell to the person who cast it. And in order to find these identifiers in the spell's area, you must spend 1 round focusing on the spell in particular and succeed at the opposed knowledge arcana. So she has to make checks from here to see if she can discern some information. So she has to do, I believe, a combination of knowledge arcana and spellcraft to be able to pull this off. So her knowledge arcana is going to be right here. The die disappeared, but it was a 19. Disappeared from what stream can see. Let me see if I can make that a little bit better for you guys. A little bit taller. And then you have go right up to here. We could do. There we go. And then lastly, she has to do a spellcraft check. Which, does she have spellcraft? Oh, good. She has a really good one. Oh, but she rolled absolute shit. Do you want to luck her spellcraft check before you say yay or nay? The spellcraft DC is, once you learn a caster's set of identifiers, you can remember them as easily as a face or a voice. You can recognize them. Oh, if you succeed a spellcraft check later on when identifying a spell. So more or less she is able to identify all. So the spellcraft actually was only important for the sake of identifying the spell, which she did. She's able to identify it was definitely prestidigitation that cleansed us up. She's able to mark all the identifiers of who it was that cast the prestidigitation to clean this up, et cetera, et cetera. But she wasn't able to do anything more than that, right? So she spends a few, like I would say with you, Jake, not Jake, Tesh, nothing crazy. We're talking like maybe 3 minutes downstairs with you. That's a combination of walking down and casting this and having conversation or whatever, as she's weaving through the spells and kind of like talking with you through what she's identifying and like these different markers to identify like what kind of caster this was. And so one of the things that she could say is, so prestidigitation is in and of itself, I believe, a universal spell. Give me 1 second to confirm this. It is. So she's able to say with her 28 Arcana check, she's able to say, funny enough, with this prestidigitation, even just the markers on here, I can notice a few details. This kind of magic is a universal spell, which means that it actually touches upon all of the schools of magic simultaneously to make it work, leaning more towards some, depending on the way that you use it, than others. Without boring you with the details, she says, kind of chuckling.
Funnily enough, he actually does understand this enough to like follow along.
Yeah.
Because of I'm sure he would have at least a little understanding now of how magic is different, which means the biggest things that's different is stuff like the classes and like the
schools and whatnot.
Very strict schools. So that stuff he would definitely understand.
Yeah. So she says, one thing I can tell you about this caster is that they are somebody who is not particularly adept in utilizing abjuration spells. They are no abjurer. As a matter of fact, it seems as though it's kind of a weak point in their casting ability. Just something that I was able to pick up and identify in this.
If I remember right, did I get the knowledge that the gnome was a illusionist?
You guys,
necromancer.
You guys originally believed the gnome might be an illusionist, but then you were like, no, this person's definitely a necromancer.
Necromancer, that's right.
Yeah.
Then I would probably bring up that we believe the last member of the Black Knights was a necromancer gnome.
Well, if they were a necromancer, that would mean that they had a particular focused school, and so they would have a couple of schools that they were inept in. If this is true, that would mean that abjuration is potentially one of the ones that they're not capable with. There would be a second one as well, most likely, assuming they train standard.
Interesting. It's also pretty obvious from what we've seen in there that it's it wasn't the gnome that did this, or did this, or at least not alone.
Nods and says, not alone, sure. I don't think a gnome could go bursting through doors and chopping people down, but maybe that's just me being sizist.
Yeah, well, magic does interesting things, but I think you're right on that one.
She nods, looking over there, and says, they'd have to be quite the powerful caster to use transformation. Tensors, of course.
I'm unfamiliar with any of that.
Shakes her head. Tensors doesn't necessarily increase your size anyways. You would have to use a combination of doesn't matter. She looks about and then kind of like nods and says, unless there's any more leads down here that you think we could look into.
I definitely wouldn't know anymore, so I'm just going to... No, well, unfortunately, I'm pretty new to this scene as well.
Yep. So she does nod and says, I have another thing that I can do. Hold on 1 second. And she'll actually walk down to the end of the aisle. And she walks up to somebody. And as she's walking up to them, you can kind of like, you can almost like see like her posture and everything changes as she walks up to them. And she goes to them and she says, did you hear what happened here to the person? And they like look, because they're genuinely like, you know, this is one of the guards, I should say. She walks up to them and they look at her like, you know, because they're curious of what happened inside. They've pretty much only seen what happened outside. And they shake their head and say, no, ma'am. And she goes, it seems as though the, what is it? A powerful knight with a powerful mage have worked together to cause this to happen. I'm wondering if perhaps this was an action done by the, what are they called? Jihuan warriors. And she uses rumor monger on them. To start spreading a rumor and seeing what information she can get afterwards.
It's a good point. They're the sort of people that would likely only claim something if they actually did it, I imagine.
Yeah.
And be angry if people said they did something that they didn't.
Yep.
Would they though? Because this is would they not want to take credit also for the fact of killing like the battle commander?
Remember, these are the super honor, like these are the ones that are like doing it.
No, the Jihuan warriors aren't honorable.
No. Yeah, they're the extremists.
Kingsguard.
But an important thing to note about
you're right. My bad,
correct.
Yeah.
The Jihuan warriors are the extremists, and extremists always take credit for it. It's one of those weird ones where when like Russia had those like apartment buildings burned down, like, you know, decades ago, they just like randomly burned down, and they're like, oh, it was these extremist groups, and no extremist groups stepped up to take credit for it. It was one of those like, was it really them, or was it maybe? Yeah. Anyways, we won't go any further. Don't need to get Twitch dropping ban hammers. So, but yeah, extremist groups always take credit because they want you to know that's right. We did that. Yeah. So anyways, they so the she spreads the rumor to the person, and you can kind of like see immediately afterwards they're like bridling with, of course, yeah, and they're just like waiting until you guys go back
I must
inside.
tell people.
Yeah, so they can tell the next, and then it's like playing telephone, and then she can kind of reanalyze the information as it comes back from using it.
A really interesting spell.
Rumor? Oh, yeah. She is a bard. Like, if you guys ever see me play a bard in Pathfinder, I will play a very different bard than you typically see. I don't strum a lute and sleep with everything that stands around. I have fun with the spells. You know, I'm not sitting there like play with my balls while I play with
There
the
are some
lutes.
really powerful bard spells. Like, we did a bard only campaign, and you could fill every slot in the party with a bard. Mm-hmm. Like, they could adapt to every single slot in the party.
All right, so let's kind of jump into back into it. So you guys finish up that conversation. Is there anything else you wanted to say to Pan before I go back to Jake?
No. just to be a lot more open and talking with her now that we know, now that like, 'cause he would be a little bit different demeanor than he would have been before to her now that everything's out in the open and it's obvious that she's an ally, sort of thing.
Same. You've heard how she just role played with you differently.
Yeah,
than how
she's
she has
probably yeah, exactly. She's also probably the sort of person that would notice that. So that's why I'm giving that information.
Yep, absolutely, 100% is somebody that would appreciate that. Cool. So continuing on, you guys would kind of like, head back in after several minutes of, obviously looking into this and her finding these signifiers for her to then try to figure out what's going on next, right? Like this gives her a baseline of understanding so that in the future she can cast that same spell and potentially discover who cast those spells to begin with. It's a huge boon to you. Jake, obviously after you finish getting the things kind of cleaned up inside there, you would go to speak to the loved one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, let's be clear for a second. It's not like you're walking out the door, going down the hall, walking down the stairs and whatnot. I imagine you would go to the end of the hall where the door is within sight, and you would call to the person to come up the stairs and greet them in the hallway, like as like a respectful thing. But I know the way you've been playing paranoid and you're afraid that I'm going to screw you over, that you're sitting there and like, there's no way I'm leaving these doors from my sight.
Yeah, as true as that is.
As I found out, that's not even enough. Yeah.
This is, look, Viggo, Jake was looking out for Tesh, but you know what I mean? If, as interesting as it is, this thing's got more to do with, Galen's backstory than Viggo knows. So it's more important to Galen than it is Viggo. So yeah, I will do that though. I will greet her in the hall.
I imagine again
in the hall.
Meet him in the hall, and I imagine again at the top of the stairs. What we were saying is probably makes
that's right. Yeah,
the most sense.
To make sure that gnome doesn't try and do a runner into the room while we're not looking.
Well, I imagine the gnome is just finishing up the tidying up or what have you.
Yeah.
So but they're staying in the room with the Lysin and the BC. They're not going anywhere else at the moment. So so you go walking out the.
You said the Lycan and the BC. Then I was like, oh, didn't know that one.
Lysin. Oh, Lycan like Witcher.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Like werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, lycanthrope. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lycans is the what the hell's her name? Oh God, she looks really good in pleather. Kate Beckinsale movie.
The Kate Beckinsale
movie. Yeah. It was the Kate Beckinsale movie. This is what that was. I was in my early 20s when those came out. Okay, hey.
It's just funny that was the first thing that came into mind.
I just remember that the guy that actually played like the Lycan in that movie. You see him in other movies, and he's like the most dweeby motherfucker ever. Like he always plays this hardcore dweeb, and he's very good at it. I can't remember what movie he's in where he plays a dweeb, and it's like top-notch performance of his. Then you see him in the Underworld movies, and like, bro, you sexy as fuck. Like what the hell? Like how did you do? Like, bro, it's so good. It's so good.
Apparently, I do some type of plus and minus thing on my head on the stream.
Oh, sorry. That's actually why I usually cut off those dice the way that I do. Let me try to do it.
It's right in the middle of your face too.
Yeah.
Why does my camera keep changing? I saw it happen on stream. I watched it happen on stream.
Sorry about that, Jake. I didn't mean to.
Fuck off, camera. Stop it.
A single dot there.
My camera keeps deciding I'm yellow.
All right, cool.
Just like turns the brightness, like the sun up to maximum.
Listen, at least it was a plus minus sign and not a division sign. We don't need the whole session to become divisive because we know how that goes. Sal's not here, but Josh looks unimpressed. So Josh looks unimpressed at this whole session. I won't lie. He's kind of feeling very judgmental to me. Moving on. You step out into the hallway. Obviously, shut the door behind you, right? And you as the gnome's like, "Yep, got this." And you make your way over to the end of the hall. You walk over there, and you stand there, and you kind of give that look down. And the person looks at the BC's husband, and they we'll kind of like take them, give like a reassuring, like, you know, hand on the shoulder, and then we'll walk with the husband up the stairs. You can see, like, it's not like they went and got dressed in black or something like that, right? Like, they clearly took some time to absorb it, asked a bunch of questions, and then eventually just found the strength to come here to confirm all of this. So they walk up to the top of the stairs, and they look down, like an occasional glance up at you, but for the most part, they look down the whole way. Mind you, they just walked into a building and stood and waited in a building with fucking dead bodies everywhere. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. There's literally a building with viscera and bodies everywhere to go and confirm the death of their husband. So he walks up the stairs and stands at the top of them. And I don't know if you speak first as they finally step up next to you coming on the level.
When they do step up, you see Viggo, he gives them the Paradel salute, but it's a very somber salute.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm very sorry about your husband.
Is it possible that it's a mistake?
I'm afraid not.
I obviously I understand the raids. Do we know why?
What, like, do we know why
he died?
We know why he was here, but I'm going to be honest with you. The person that is responsible seems to be still at large, and that's what I'm hoping we can. We're able to find the person who killed your husband.
They nod, looking very somber. Again, it's one of those you can see that they're spending like the extra like 2 or 3 seconds to like gather up their strength before they speak again. You know that feeling where your throat is very dry. You have to swallow a couple times, and doing so hurts just to get the strength to speak again. But you know, obviously trying to hold it in. Nobody wants to be just like openly sobbing. Right when there's work to be done. But that being said, the soldier that you sent to go and get him says, BT, with the person still being at large, kind of speaking out of turn, honestly, is it possible we can divert a couple of soldiers to look after the late commander's husband to see that he is kept in safety?
I think that is a very reasonable request.
The husband, he says, I don't think that'll be necessary. This has nothing to, this wasn't personal. This was positional.
That's what we believe. You're quite insightful. Once again, I'm sorry that this happened. Commander Rylor was a good and honest man. And I didn't know him for that long, and he left such a strong impression upon me.
We all know the dangers when you sign up for or choose to fall in love with is there anything I should be prepared with before I see him?
Can you really prepare yourself?
They'll actually kind of like nod, you know, one of those like they appreciate what it is that you're saying. Like that you are kind of like suggesting like there's nothing that you can do and whatnot. Like you're not pulling punches, you're not treating them like, you know, they're weak or anything like that. And so they just nod appreciatively and say, and allow me to see him one last time before I imagine one last time.
Of course, but before we go in, will you allow us to speak with him?
It's like the question asks, that kind of catches them off guard for a few seconds, and then they say, "Oh yeah, and then they kind of gesture towards the soldier that's at their side, was informed there's a type of magic that you can do.
Yes, there is a member of the Arcane Congress here. We are prepared to go, but we would not do so without your support.
I understand. Yes, yes, that'd be...
Then, if I may, we're able to ask him 3 questions. And I think it's only fair that you have the 3rd. If there's anything you want to say, he'll be here.
He nods and then says, I'll have to think on that. But thank you.
Viggo will just give a polite nod and lead them in.
Okay. So
as we're walking in, he will say, at this stage, it's if you can, we don't want to avoid what's the word? We don't want to. I've got a mind blank. More like mess with the scene kind of thing. What's the word for it? We don't want to.
disrupt the scene.
Tamper? Disrupt?
Let's go with we don't want to disrupt the scene too much.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're fine. So you
Beyond-
lead them over.
Beyond what we've already done, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
With a bunch of
obviously-
magic.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
you lead them over, and do you have him on the ground or in the bed? Because don't forget, what's her name's in
They're
there
going to
as
be
well,
laid on the
Delphine's in there.
bed. Yeah, where Viggo is trying to be as respectful as possible.
So
Well, I think,
you open
like,
up the
we'll
door.
leave- I was gonna say we'll leave the traitor's body exactly where it is,
Of course. Yeah.
and we can probably move to the bed since we're going to be asking him questions anyway.
So you go
What do you
over
think about that?
and you open the door
definitely.
for them to walk in, and the gnome, of course, is standing inside there, kind of like hanging their head a little low, hands behind their back, and they turn to look in whatever. But as the person walks into the door ahead of you, the soldier left behind does catch your eye real quick and say, "BT, I didn't mention Vilfine."
He just nods. Well, in his Viggo's head, it's like, well, cat's out of the bag now.
It's too late now. Yeah.
Well, didn't mention that they were dead. Didn't mention that they were the traitors. Kind of like what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get across, whatever. But so, anyways, you go in and shut the door. So you go in behind them, and this soldier will stay out in the hallway. There's no reason for them to go in, and you can see the bodies are exactly where you laid them. Everything's like primped up and looking nice, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, the gnome went a little bit too far with his prestidigitation, and after using his instantaneous versions of it to get it to clean everything up, he then also added an aromatic version to make it so it smells kind of nice inside there instead of, like death. The problem is, if you've ever been to a funeral parlor before, like there's certain smells that mask the smell of like death and formaldehyde, and they're just not very nice ones. They're just... Yeah, like potpourri only goes so far, But anyways, so it's one of those things where you walk in and you're like, that is not the smell I smelled when I left this room. But so adds like an extra layer of emotion or whatever to it. So they go walking in with you, Jake, and they walk in ahead of you. They walk over to the bed. They stop at the foot of it. And they stay there for enough time for you to like come in behind. And I don't know if you shut the door behind you or you leave it open or what have you. But you go in there and spend a few moments. And then finally they go over and they'll stand by the body and place like one hand on like their shoulder, like chest. And just kind of like looking down at the face. I imagine the eyes are closed. Again, you guys would have presented it in a compassionate way. And they just stare at them for like a solid 3-4 minutes. Tears rolling down the face. Very upset. Because it's just, I mean, You can see, you don't even need to roll sense motive. They're using every bit of their strength to hold back from just outward sobbing and whatnot. They're trying to hold together every fiber of their being. Eventually, they unfortunately will have to turn and kind of like turn their back to it. While doing so, still turning and allowing one hand to be left on the shoulder that's there. And they just kind of like, while not making eye contact at first, eventually look up to you and like their, reddened and tear-filled eyes make eye contact with you and then just give you one short nod with a short enough of a nod that it literally knocks more tears loose to roll down their cheeks. And then with like a struggled, like double short breath, like they then just walk away. They just pull their hands draping off of the body and walk away across to the other side of the room and turn and have their backs to the door that you guys came in, but like almost like leaning up against the wall, like they need it for support, but also to be by the door in case they need to get out. But at the same time, they're there and their attention is inwards, if not at the body, but, just elsewhere. And they do look at Vilfine at one point in time and kind of shake their head somberly because they knew Vilfine well. You can imagine the number of times Vilfine has come to the house to deliver reports and whatnot. I mean, not necessarily that they were friends with the subordinate of their husband, but, they would have spent much time together and whatnot. Anyways, so they
probably have the other guard go fetch the I've completely forgotten the rank of the new person.
COW?
Not COW, the one that's with us in the office at the moment. They went to sit down and go to.
There was another ranking military person.
A ranking military person.
Honestly, if they're not here while this is all going on.
No, they were waiting for this specifically.
Are you talking about the LT, like the one that originally outranked?
No, there was another
Tesh?
one. No,
there was another one here, but I mean, if it's not important.
No, it was very important because this was the person that we communicated with the most, and it's like our one. This person is like our one person against the COW if it comes to being them accusing us. Where was it?
I remember the LT.
Chat would remember. It was. I would have put her name down somewhere.
She led one of the
Yolanda.
other raids.
Battle Centurion Yolanda.
Oh, it was a BC. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was securing the docks. Yeah, she was specifically waiting for to come back up.
That's right. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get her. I don't know
why.
Why do I not have her in my notes? I have everybody else in here.
I was about to say she's pretty damn important. She's the one that like told us that we could clean up the room now and that she would trust our notes and stuff. Like this very important person.
Yeah, we're on good terms with her.
Person that's stopping us from being accused of treason right now.
Yolanda is Yolanda.
I didn't double check the name. That's how I put it in this.
All right, cool. Because the Centurion of War is the highest.
She was securing the docks during the raids, and that's why she wasn't here. And she showed up on horse while we were doing stuff.
That's right. Now I remember. Wow, I forgot that whole arc. Okay, cool. Thank you. You brought her up like 5 times, and now finally I believe
I did as well.
Sorry. Yeah,
I was like, the fact that when I brought her up this time, you were like, who? I'm like, I've mentioned her so many times.
Yeah. So where is she right now?
She was waiting, like sitting down somewhere doing like paperwork for this.
That's right. Okay, cool.
I imagine she more or less comes back in at this time.
Yeah. We could have her arrive, like more or less a soldier out in the hallway. You would send to go get the battle Centurion. The Batson. Go get the Batson. So she would, they would run downstairs and retrieve her, and she would come up and she would stand in the doorway, and similarly would, seeing the battle commander's husband there, having a bit of a relationship with him, different from that of the other one, Rylor. What the hell is his name? The bad one. Vilfine. Different than Vilfine. Yeah. She actually puts a hand on his shoulder and like, kind of like turn to her, and she'll actually pull him in and give him like a nice hug. And it's like they have like a nice, like, 5 or 6 second embrace. And then she'll, kind of like a reassuring grip of the shoulder and they'll both turn their attention inwards. And you'll just hear from behind you, Jake. She'll say, "BT, you may proceed."
I'll nod at the gnome.
Okay.
To start.
So the gnome.
Whilst the gnome is casting that, I will describe the process as was described to me. So not that I know that they're not in a state right now, but just so they know what is happening, the fact that we're going to ask them 2 questions, and then they're going to get a question to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it
also
takes
probably ask the commander if they have any thing that they need to know specifically, just so we can make sure we have the right amount of questions and such.
Yeah. We'll have a question. I think the what was she?
The
Tesh?
BC will have a
The BC will have a question, and the last question is for
you said the Batson, not to be
husband.
confused with the battle commander.
Yeah.
And not to be confused with
Batson.
Batcom. Yep. All right, cool. So the gnome cast the spell. It takes 10 minutes. I mean, they already precast a good portion of it. So let's say it only takes like 2 or 3 more minutes to finish up the spell or what have you. And they finish up the spell, and more or less the way that it works, it's not like an actual soul rises and lingers above it or anything like that. There's nothing so overt and obvious as that, but actually the corpse's mouth does in fact move, and a voice does actually come from it, as the corpse will respond with the answers. So no like visual display of spirits, specters, or what have you, but actual knowledge that the corpse had prior. Because
oh damn, that would have been good if there was a spirit that you could actually see.
Yeah, no, not typically. So this is why you actually have to have a skull in place, because it's literally the memories. Because if you don't have a skull, you can't even cast a spell, right? So you literally are kind of calling to the memories.
So you need the jaw especially, then, do you?
Yeah. Well, you need the skull, but the jaw is part of it. Yeah. So, anyways, they cast a spell on the person in the bed, and you ask your first question, Jake.
All right. So remind me if I'm saying this wrong, Tash. We want to describe. We would say obviously Commander Rylo.
Yeah.
Can you please describe what happened from the moment you entered the premises up until the moment of your death? Is that it?
In detail would be the only thing added. Describe in detail everything that happened from the moment you entered the building until the moment of your death.
Okay. I just need to roll one little thing real quick. Okay. Please describe the detail for the moment of your arrival to the moment of your death. The raid was planned, so combat was inevitable. Our forces clash with one another, and eventually we met our opponent. We met each other. Opponents. Not knowing how it would play out, but having faith in the plan as it was put together. We argued. We nearly came to blows. We tried to use words, but the door burst open. A knight stood before us. They had in hands a great weapon. They glinted with such pristine, their armor seeming to shine with an internal brightness. Cut down each one in the room. Even after I fell, I looked up and saw the way he turned his blade and finished the job. I felt the tip of it on my chest before it was pressed in.
Ooh. So that's the question answered. I believe they're not going to say anything else.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's not super informative like I would have liked, but we're gonna look to the Batson because they may have a question, which I thought they did, but I'd going back a while now.
Yeah, if they have a specific question or whether we want to ask. If they don't have a specific question, we should probably ask something to like more details, as many details as possible about the killer.
So you ask the Batson steps forward and says, tell me. Wait, I gotta pull it up. Tell me, Lieutenant Centurion Vilfine, what is it? The Lieutenant Secretary to Battle Commander Rylor. Was she or was she not a, what's what we're looking for here? Traitor to Paradel. And the response you get is, it depends on the perspective. The Vilfine Vilfine believed that what she was doing was the right thing. But to how Paradel would view it, how most Paradel would view it, Vilfine would be marked as and seen as a traitor. Vilfine did stand opposed to the efforts of the battle commander of Rylor. And then you can see, like, as that question was asked and that answer was delivered, you can see, like, that's where the husband's like, wait, what? Because they didn't know about the treachery until this point. And they literally ask, what is this?
Before Viggo will step in and tell to the husband. Before we answer your question, is there anything you want to say or ask your husband? Now is the time. You get one question.
They seem torn for a moment, and they're literally sitting there, and they take like a solid like 20 seconds. And I imagine these 20 seconds feel very long to your character who understands the time limits of spells and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But there's like, a solid like 20 seconds or so pass before they say, Rylor always put duty, responsibility, put the needs of Paradel and her people above personal desires, above personal needs. This question should not be squandered on answers that I can discover in my own heart, on answers that I can discover just by returning home and looking for them in the life that we've spent together. This question should be used for the people of Paradel.
Good on them.
Very noble. I will turn to the Battle Centurion and say, Battle Centurion, for the last question, do you think we should have the Battle Commander describe in every detail the knight that killed him? He may not know more than what he's just said. Mm-hmm. But there may be the smallest detail or anything that can be picked up that can lead us to avenge him.
That might not be entirely necessary, BT. He mentions that there was an armor with an internal glow. There's a specific types of metals or the like that can be used to have something like this. Armor that seems to glow from the inside when lights is reflected off of it. It's
Viggo is counting internally. Just I want you to know that.
Yeah, you're fine. You can roll an intelligence check if you'd like.
Yeah. I mean, I would roll it, but yeah.
I mean, what's your intelligence score, anyways?
My intelligence is a 20.
Oh, you could easily keep track of numbers while you're talking. Yeah, that's fine. Like a 20 intelligence is smarter than most humans that have ever lived, right? like 18 is supposed to be like the capstone.
There's a reason why I always say our characters are much smarter than us.
Yeah.
When I'm like trying to no, our characters would know. We're just dumb.
I mean, there are exceptions. Like obviously, like Stephen Hawking, dumped a couple of stats to boost up the mental stats. You know what I mean? So he probably got to like a 20. But like Einstein, Einstein was probably just hovering at like an 18 or so. So The what was I getting at? Hocking's amazing. So
Yeah, it's just the way. I'm gonna
Well,
leave it.
you like the bit that got me was he definitely dumped a few stats.
right? We all play characters like that. So
Of course.
anyways, so the
When I say, Scott, you need to play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Those sorts of jokes are the stuff you like. You need to play it.
100% will eventually.
Sorry.
So no, you're good.
Continue on with it. Yeah.
So he they say that type of armor they describe with the internal glow. This is something that's not unusual. This is literally what the Royal Guard wears in the Dalelands. It wouldn't surprise me just with that description alone. They're describing a Knight of the King's Guard. We can certainly utilize that. We can utilize this question to get a deeper understanding to identify this individual, but that's a lead that we can work with.
I see.
Do I have another suggestion?
This is where Tesh ends Jake speaking in Viggo's mind, not telepathy, but like Viggo's high brain. Yeah, can kick in.
I mean, what is there anything else specifically that we? The selfish question is just like securing the fact that we were working with him, but that's not.
I mean, we don't have to. I don't think we've got a lot of documentation evidence.
Yeah.
Not only that, he flat out said, more or less that, he practically said Dolphin was a traitor. Which,
I think we're fine.
Backs up what we've been saying.
So in that case, I think any more information that we can glean from is
feel free to chime in, chat. Go ahead.
If any information during the discussion with Vilfane is something we need to know, or do you have any more knowledge than before on the traitors or something like that? Because we know at least there was one other traitor in the military, at least. So
we could say, did you find out any information during this time in which would be harmful to Paradel and its interests?
Phrase that one more. Oop. Hi, Brett.
I think there's a better way to phrase it. Yeah. Did you find any information that the Paradel would need to know? Any information that would help protect Paradel from the Black Knights or this attacker?
Yeah.
I think that's probably our best bet. Chat, do you have a better way of phrasing that? Because I don't.
I mean, it's difficult with these questions. You know what I mean?
It is, because
you get three. It's not like you can have a conversation as well.
Yeah, at least for the most part, but choosing him and him being willing is making this a lot easier. There was already, especially in that question, a way in which if we'd asked, Velfana would have come back very differently.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just go with that. I mean, we'll phrase it to Scott, more or less.
No more hints. This PC matters now. What?
I mean,
this PC?
yeah, that's true. But I mean, chat also, they also matter. You matter, chat. Just want to put that out there.
It's gonna be interesting. The specificity, yes and no. No way. We want to be specific if we're dealing with someone who's not going to work with us, but we want to be vague in a way that they can answer more information if they are going to work with us, and he is working with us so far.
Sorry about that.
That's right, Scott. Specificity is more for if someone's going to be not like open with the information, whereas if he's as open with the information as he is, we want to be more allow for more in the answer than correct.
Yeah. So if you think that that they're going to be super open with the information, ask for specificity. Otherwise, be general. If you
other
think
way around. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's based. So what's the question? So I can guide you, because the gnome gave you guidance before. So what was the question?
Well, I'll tell you mine, and then Tesh will tell you his. And
yes,
sure. So go ahead, Jake.
Better. I said I think I said oh, now I've forgotten. During like this time, did you learn of anything that could potentially harm Paradel and its interests? Well, it was something like that. I can't remember. It was different, but the same.
Yeah, and I sort of adjusted that, saying, "Did you learn anything? Have you learned anything that would the Paradel to help protect Paradel from the Black Knights or this assailant?" Basically, trying to find out if they learned anything in this conversation with Velphine that we need to know.
Gotcha. Okay. See, Jake's question left me more to like more. Did you uncover anything under some dark secret rocks? Some like hidden knowledge of Paradel? Like they're actually a bunch of liches. Ah, like that. That's what I was kind of thinking that Jake was going with. Like tell me the conspiracy theories. Like are there lizard people? But so if that's not the route that you're going, which makes more sense that you wouldn't. Tesh, phrase yours one more time.
Okay. Did you learn anything here? Oh, just did you learn anything since we last talked that would be dangerous? Sorry.
Defensive.
Did you learn anything since we last talked that would help protect Paradel from the Black Knights or this assailant?
Sure, something along those lines. So more
is
or less,
that better? Because
it's like yours is more specific, so Jake's is too open. So just to phrase yours slightly differently, because again, you did get the guidance from the gnome beforehand. So it's one of those like since last we spoke, and the person asking is Viggo. Since last we spoke, have you uncovered any
more traders or any information? No, any traders and any information, maybe as like a adjustment.
Yeah, have you uncovered any details? Have you uncovered any details? You're trying to get information that you can use now, right? So you're saying, have you uncovered any? Have you uncovered any details or information that can now be used to the defense of Paradel?
Yeah. Okay, that'll be good, because that covers traitors and or anything else like learned about the Black Knights here.
Absolutely. Okay.
Because we know there's at least one more traitor that we encountered, so there's probably more.
Okay. So Viggo, it's since last we spoke, have you uncovered any more details or information that can now be used to the defense of Paradel, sort of a thing, right? Against other traitors, right? So you ask this question of the body lying in the bed, right? You ask this question, and the response will be, since last we spoke, I have discovered that there are some in the leadership of the Black Knights that have chosen to work more closely with the leadership of the King's Guard, and have even worked to form a union with the Harbor Masters, the three groups seeming to have a plot that I was too late to uncover the finer details, too late to uncover how I may play a role in their execution.
Well, that's not good.
Jake,
that's good information. That's amazing information, but that's really bad that there's no extra.
Yeah, that there's no like more follow-up spells or what have you. I'm gonna have you make a. Okay, Tesh.
I was to say that gives a lot of context to this. This sounds like this was the Kingsguard cleaning up the mess, essentially.
Jake, you can go ahead and roll a linguistics check. Remember that spell is no longer on you because it's hours later. That's a really high roll. Something strikes you as odd. Everything that's phrased up until this point, like the first question was answered obviously, like how they were all killed, right? The second question was answered pretty directly. That speaking of course in the second person or what have you of Vilfine, or third person what have you of Vilfine, but those were fine. The thing that throws you off about this one, it was specifically the phrase how I may play a role in its execution. And that's where it's just kind of like, that just threw you off in that specific phrasing. Like, that was weird. Why would the battle commander be playing a role in its execution? It just threw you off a bit, but not like, again, it's one of those things that it just seems strange to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so either way, that would be the third and final spell to play its way out.
Yeah. Just so you know, while also the
Black
questions
Harbor
were being
Knights?
answered, Viggo was more or less scribing what was being
Black Harbor
the
Knights.
response.
Viggo was what?
Like scribing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the conversation. And,
Cool.
And that.
And so that would be the end of it. And the first to speak afterwards would be the Batson. Would then turn to you and say, I want to thank you again on this one, BT. It was wise of you to have gotten the Arcane Congress involved in this. It was wise of you to discover this information. There is no reason for us to doubt any of the words that you have put forward or any of the scheming that you have uncovered and suggested to be true. This was brilliant decision-making, brilliant planning. And for that, I think we all in Paradel would like to say thank you. Unfortunately, at this point in time, this moves beyond our hands. I've already sent word to the COW to make sure that they understands that we are taking what's taking place here, so that they can get involved. I find it strange that they've chosen to fall back into their own defensive position, but I have sent word to them. We'll see how that transpires. And as you know, word has already been sent to the field commander. We're hoping to hear back from them sometime tomorrow. In the meanwhile, I think that all of us have had a long and hard day. I think everybody here, turning towards the husband, needs to find a degree of rest and comfort so that we can continue to act accordingly tomorrow. Looking to the soldier that went and retrieved both her and the husband at one point in time, if you could please escort the battle commander's husband back to their home and put a guard in place in case they need anything, I would appreciate that. And then turns to you and says, unless you have any other brilliant plans up that sleeve of yours. And the two of them will turn and walk out.
Yeah. I'll wait till after they walk out, and if he goes says, permission to sleep.
She nods and says, you have indeed earned it.
Yes.
Okay. So you go and cuddle up next to you go, do you, because you obviously, I assume you guys don't want to sleep in a room with a corpse, because that's weird. You can post guards to watch the corpse and sleep in a room like across the hall.
Viggo's not sleeping. There's a weird corpse next door.
He wants to go. Oh,
you can look at it tomorrow.
The Arcane Congress could be back by then.
He's right here.
He's leaving. He's got red
Fuck
tape
off then, huh?
try and cut through. I don't know. After this all finishes, though, I'm assuming Gallon's probably back by that stage.
Yeah. Gallon would have come up
yeah.
as she was like giving those commands.
Yeah, so he's back to his post.
No. I imagine you would have stopped and like more or less listens to the commander, the one in charge, I should say. Giving the rest of because the body's watched. Giving the rest of her orders. So you say permission to sleep, and she says, "You've earned it." And then she'll actually look over at Gallon and say, you certainly look like you need yours as well. The two of you should get your rest. Any other concerns? Any other plans? Anything else?
Nothing that can't be handled tomorrow.
Just we need guards guarding that door, but that could be like Gallon wouldn't bring it up then. He can handle that later.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Scott, we're in a weird position, right? Where we're not actually under the command of these people, technically. We are working with them, but it's a weird structural arrangement.
Yeah, we're waiting for...
You did have to listen to some of the orders of the BC, but with them being gone, you definitely don't have to listen to somebody as low ranking as this. This isn't your right. This isn't your branch. They may outrank you, but it's not your branch. You show them respect, but you can also say it's like going to your friend's parents' house. It's like going out in public and you can bump into your friend's parents, right? Like as a kid, like you respect your friend's parents, but you can also tell them to fuck off. You know, like don't, but you can. You know,
but you can.
Their house is a different conversation, obviously, right? But anyways, so
that's great.
Yep.
All right. Well, then I guess I would approach Gallon. I'd give you the rundown of what went on, but after I give you this, also almost like matter.
So hold on. She will dismiss the two of you guys to go to sleep, right? So do you say anything else to her before you guys have your own little side conversation?
No,
I don't anyway.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay, then she'll say, "I expect you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning," and then she walks off, and you guys have identified her as a furry. So you now you guys can have like, your side conversation. I imagine you like the gnome is right there. So do you have it in the room with the two corpses? Or do you step away from that even?
Oh no! I mean, is the gnome like packing up to leave?
Yeah, they're getting prepared to leave, but they're also not like rushing.
Yeah, I mean, I would then have small talk with the gnome, specifically asking the specifics of like the spell and how it works.
Speak with dead.
Yeah.
So they would say, well, I mean, the way that it works is you cast a spell on you requires at the very least a skull. And you cast it on the skull, and any of the memories that were kind of burned into it at the time of death are able to be spoken back out. Now, granted, these spells don't really work if the creature that you're casting the spells on soul is utterly destroyed. But, you know, that's a theoretical thing. I've never actually encountered such a scenario. And honestly, what is a soul? You know, that being said, it can answer questions only based off of the knowledge that it had prior to its demise. It'll answer you as honestly as it's willing, so long as you're able to either come to an agreement of perspective, or you're able to overpower its will.
Oh, interesting. The overpower its will thing is interesting.
So do you only need a skull? You don't need like the vocal chords and things intact for it to speak. And if that's the case, could you do this to any intact skull, even one hundreds of years old?
There are limitations to how old the body has to be. I'm just reopening that spell right now to
let me check my notes.
confirm. Let's see. The corpse can be no more dead than if the corpse you cast it on a type of the body. Is it you can cast a spell on a corpse that has been deceased for any amount of time, but the body must be mostly intact. Oh, mostly intact. So that's right. It's for the weaker version of the spell, you have to have the body mostly intact, but specifically the skull. A damaged corpse may be able to, but must have at least have a mouth in order to speak at all. So you're saying for dead for any amount of time, it says, well, the problem is bodies decompose. So if the thing is too weak, then it won't work. And again, it depends on the degree of the spell. There are ways to get the spell to work if you have literally just the skull. It's just not as strong of a use of the spell. You want it as fresh as possible. Why do you ask? It can only speak the languages it knew in life. Go ahead.
This is the first time I'm witnessing something like this, so I'm just wondering the limitations.
Yeah, well, you would need to have the body mostly intact. Anything else?
I suppose it's unfortunate in one way, for if we were able to talk to just a skull, there is much we could learn of the past.
Nods. Oh, I understand exactly what you're saying. As a matter of fact, there is that is something that's understood. You see, I studied deeply when my time with the Arcane Congress, obviously, and there are whole catacombs of knowledge that are kept in some areas of Eustace. There's the wise old rulers of Eustace. Every one of them, their bodies are preserved. There's a constant recasting of gentle repose put onto these bodies to keep them from decomposing, no matter how many centuries have passed. Sometimes the best knowledge that you can garner is the knowledge that you can get from someone who has ruled over such a situation. It's only through past mistakes that we can learn how to properly make decisions in the future, yes? Lest we are doomed to repeat our failings. This mindset that you have is not unique or new. It's actively used, but it requires a strong foundation of magic to keep it functioning. It's very expensive. Again, I mentioned catacombs. You can imagine how many castings there must be put inside each one of those buildings just monthly, let alone centuries.
Oh, of course. Yes, I understand. And yeah, so then that's really all I want to know. We'll just continue the chat while he packs up. I'll like walk chatting with him until he gets like to the top of the stairs and goes to go down. Probably still chatting, and I just don't go down.
Yep. And he'll say, now, we have an understanding.
A professional understanding.
So we're going to both wait and see if I can cut through that red tape tomorrow?
I'll see you tomorrow. He winks.
He gives you like a sly, like gnomish smile. And he says, "No. You know, I need to have at least a chance here."
Oh, you definitely have a chance. Of course.
He kind of like takes a deep breath. Listen, I don't need much. I mean, I understand that you want to have a full understanding, but I just at least need a sample to run some experiments on myself. I want to discover what the hell that was. And how about this? He kind of like takes like a couple steps forward, back up the stairs, because he had to take a couple steps down, and he's already short. So it makes him even shorter to you. Like now he's coming up to your shins because he's a few steps down the stairs. He comes back up, so he's, back up to like your belly height or whatever. Yeah. And he you can see him get up on his tiptoes, suggesting kind of like physically suggesting that you bend down so he can whisper to you. And I imagine you do so in kind, yeah. And he says, if I could even just have a pint of blood, this is something that I could use. I could use to run a few experiments to try to understand what the hell that is. You do what you need to do. I get it. I saw how skilled you are.
Honestly, the AC finding out about the lurkers may not be the worst thing.
Listen to this, ready? A pint of blood, you say?
Nods.
I'm sure that could be arranged.
He gestures down the hallway.
But all things don't come for free. As we've seen, paying for services.
Drops off his tippies back to his heels and then takes one of those, like, step back, hip shift. You know what I mean? Like one of those, like, okay, give it to me. He's listening.
You see, I have us alchemists, we're able to sometimes use the knowledge that say you use to cast your spells, and we're able to turn that into a liquid form, and those spells still function.
Nods.
So maybe if I know it doesn't work the same way. I believe you cannot reverse engineer our potions and such to learn the same way. So I'm thinking, if you're willing to help me out, maybe with a spell or two, maybe something that I could use.
Did you have anything particular in mind?
This is where he gets to go look at the
Expected to
spell
go
list
this way.
and like,
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's in your spell book, do I?
He nods and says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! We all understand that a spell book, just as a formula book, are very, very prized and personal. I would not be willing to open mine personally, but I do have an alternative route." He actually get back up and step forward, get back up on his tippies to like whisper again. Again, this is funny because you're at the top of like a grand stairwell, but you're surrounded by corpses, you know. So
Yeah.
so he actually will whisper and say, "Have you ever heard of Old Mage?" And actually, you can roll an alchemy check for that one, sir. Usually have to roll a different one, but you can roll an alchemy check.
whoa.
You rolled shit, but you have a high modifier. What's your total?
18.
Do you want to roll luck on that?
Yeah, I don't think you have any bonuses, so you might have to roll luck on that one.
Should I attach?
This is a permanent boost to you. I'd say go for it. This is something that will you'll have for a while.
Unfortunately, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Kind of like, again, gets down from the tippies and looks at me with a smile and says, "It is not particularly legal, but it does do exactly what you're asking beyond your typical ability. Now, I can get you passage into a Arcane Congress exclusive, what's the word I'm looking for here? Library, where you'll have access to scrolls that you otherwise would not be able to get your hands on. And I will also be willing to assist you in getting your hands on a single dose of Old Mage. And this will allow you to do exactly what you're asking. Now, you seem as though you have some funds about you. One dose of that is very expensive, and I will acquire it for you. And access to that library is invaluable, since it is something that is not allowed outside of the Arcane Congress. However, if you were to be an honorary member temporarily, that's something that would allow you to go inside there and make a few purchases. So just use your time wisely.
I like it. You get to go on a shopping spree.
Yeah. You can see there's an internal battle in Viggo's face for all of about I don't know, around 6 seconds. He says, I think I'd be amenable to that.
He nods and says,
"You wouldn't be able to throw in a little something for me?"
Raises an eyebrow and says, "You drive a hard bargain for somebody who's only a BT. Ambitious, are you?"
When he says that, he says, "Indeed."
He waits.
Say I came across let's just say he knows because he heard all that stuff. One of the leaders of the Black Knights happened to be a necromancer. I don't believe he's with the AC. But if he was, yeah. So what I'm saying is, I don't believe.
Okay. My pause doesn't say anything then.
Yeah. Yep. Let's just say I may have come into contact with a travel spellbook, if you would say. Just, not many pages. Would you be able to take a look at it and just tell me, for one, if you can work out who owns it, or maybe if you could open it? I tried, but unfortunately, I was unsuccessful.
Potentially I could. Spell books can oftentimes have safeguards on them that are dangerous. I would not be able to just simply rip open the pages here and now before you. There are certain safety parameters that need to be put in place first.
Of course, I said I was ambitious. No, you said I was ambitious.
No,
I mean, I've already tried, and like you said, now that you've said that, I might be a little worried about what these safeguards could be. While I go get you that pint of blood, would you mind maybe seeing if you could detect anything at the very least?
I can give it a look over, certainly, but I won't. I won't try to open it without safeguards.
Of course. So I'll go get him a pint of blood. I'll obviously ask Gallon if it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, Gallon would be fine with that. Like whatever you want to do. He knows you know more about bodies than he does. So
Well, also, Gallon was given the order to go to sleep. So would Gallon go to sleep?
well, Gallon was waiting for all of this to sort of finish to have a final word with Viggo before he went and called it.
Okay, so funny enough, actually, so while that's happening or whatever, actually, I kind of imagined that Pan would have come up with you and like at the end and been like, Gallon, you want to tell me what's going like? And so I almost as like an aside
then
while this is
I'll
happening.
fill her
You're just So that's kind of like what's happening during all this. So you kind of like look at Gallon, you're like.
Yeah.
You're like, you good? And Gallon's like, yeah. And then so you go off and you grab that pint. He's going to grab that book. And I imagine he literally takes the book and sits down at the top of the stairs and starts giving it a look over, if you will. Hold on. Let me just get a perception check because they're going to have to be careful, of course. Looking it over. It's up to you if you want to modify their roll for what they can look over. But otherwise, a 19 is a pretty solid check.
I'm not gonna lie, Tash. I'm gonna use a lot.
Chester doesn't care.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, I'm good with you
Okay.
using that.
So, gives the whole thing a look over, or whatever. So you go into the room where the guard is, and the guard is standing there. As you can walk in, BT. I hate to ask too many questions, but I'm just looking at the thing right there, and I'm sorry, it looks weird. Why do they look like that, BT?
I'll take it from here.
They okay, and they'll like wait in the hallway until you draw the blood, and then you can go back in, and they'll go back in after you leave, right? Because you want the thing under guard the whole time. So either way, so you leave in the hallway, you go over to the body. I imagine you like slit an important artery or what have you. I don't know if you do like the neck or if you go over to like a leg or whatnot, but you go over and you do a cut. And one of the things I will say is that wherever you choose to cut to draw blood from, their anatomy works the same as any other bipedal humanoid that you have encountered thus far. So yeah, same thing. Blood will come out normally. There is no heartbeat to help it, but it would still drain. So you drain off a pint, which takes a bit of time because again, there's no heartbeat to help push it. There's no like internal pressure or whatever at this point. But
I'm gonna try and drain two because I'm gonna keep one for myself.
Sure. How much blood does the average adult male have?
Oh, more than 2 pints.
Yes, I think it's 4 pints. Pints of blood in average adult male. No, I'm wrong. It's 10 to 11 pints. So draining 2.
I know. I was going to say it's way more than 2 pints. Yeah.
I thought it was 4. So my apologies. So anyways, yeah. So you would be able to. You would of course have to like massage out the body or whatever to literally. But this isn't weird to you. So this takes a few minutes for you to get this done. To drain out the pints, and obviously your character would use like stints or whatever to like almost like wall off and like kind of patch up the spot so it's not dripping any more than that. And eventually you grab the pints, you put them into. I think flasks hold a whole pint. So you would get the flask and these are crystal flasks that you've spent money on to make sure that they're high quality and they don't break on you so easily. Your brother made sure that you were able to have access to that stuff at one point. Anyways, so you get these flasks and the soldier then goes back in and is like, okay. And then goes in and stands there and watches some more, freaked out by what the body looks like. And you go back over to the gnome. And
this poor soldier's like, what the fuck?
So you got one flask, I imagine, inside your pack. You don't necessarily need to advertise the fact that you took another one, but you're walking over to the other one, the soldier, of course. Yeah, I imagine you didn't show it off to the soldier either, maybe draping something over your hand. Nope. Yes, sir?
Yeah.
I've realized I
yeah,
think
get
the
it.
best way to describe how a normal person would view this person is the shapeshifter guy in Deep Space Nine. That's
Yes.
what this person would look to a normal parent.
Yes. Yes. Freaky. Yes. 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 Hold on, I just want to. I don't remember that race is called. Shifter.
Oh, I can't remember either, but yeah, it's like that perfect thing of mimicking.
It's Odo.
It's
Odo.
close. Odo, yeah.
Yeah.
It's close, but not quite right.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Species is called changeling. A lame name.
Oh, okay, changeling. Yeah.
I hate the fact that it's called changeling because that's not what the species would fucking call themselves, right?
It's not. Yeah.
And you think that in the Intergalactic Basic they're going to allow changeling to be their fucking representative word? Like, come on. Either way.
Yeah, look, it's Star
to be
Trek.
fair,
You can let it go on little things.
well, to be fair, the word Indian is very much used by the Native Americans of the United States, and it's one of the big core identifiers to themselves because it's what they've been identified as a long time. But clearly, they're not Indian, right? Like they're whatever,
yeah.
you know. So at the same time, it's one of those like, well, if you get called something enough for long enough, I guess maybe you just kind of, yeah, fine, fuck it, that's me. You know what I mean?
There's reclaiming.
Yeah.
Is a
yes,
that,
yes. It's like what we've been called it for so long. Fuck it, we own it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but either way, moving on. Because I don't want to speak for other people's, right? Mansplaining, woo, for the win. Moving on. You come back and you've got the whatever draped over your hand, maybe the towel used to clean up the little bit off the wrist or wherever you had cut them, the femoral artery. And you have the draped over your head. You go over it and you will hold the flask so they can see it, and they go, "Oh, thank you." Giving this thing a look over, I can tell you that immediately and right off of the bat, there are definitely spells on this book. I'm not able to so easily identify them immediately, but there's definitely necromantic energies that are on this book that are able to be used. Again, it would take a little bit of time for me to properly identify what this is, but I can tell you that the necromantic energies on there are ones that would not be particularly powerful. These are what's what I'm looking for? Neophyte level spells, I believe. No, adroit level spells are what's on there. So again, nothing insanely powerful, but if you've seen no ill effects of having triggered something on there, you should be fine. Perhaps you just instinctively resisted it, or perhaps it wasn't something too particularly damaging, but it is on there, and it does seem to become and focused in on one particular point. They'll actually show like a little barb that happens to be on the book itself. This seems to have something to do with it. What that is, again, I couldn't tell you immediately. But then as for the book itself, you can also see that there is a basic protective spell on here that makes it difficult to open beyond that. So Arcane Lock, kind of a pretty routine abjuration spell was put on there. So they have that, so it's not so easy for you to open as well. And you can also see some basic materials used in crafting the book to make it so it doesn't so easily burn if thrown into a fire, or etc., etc., etc.
I see.
Did you want me to look into this further? I can potentially even have it opened for you.
I know the gnome's name by now, I assume.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I thought I gave it to you.
You probably called the gnome Joey. Or
Might
something,
have happened in the last session when we did.
I thought
we've forgotten 90% of what happened.
Yeah, I thought it was I was like a joke name based off somebody in chat. I honestly thought we named them based off somebody in chat. Like it wasn't Steve, but I don't know, like Viggo or something. Not Viggo. Like Magoo or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
We'll go with Magoo.
Magoo works.
well, I would just go with Resin. If not, we just Rezin, Resin.
All right. He'll look at Resin and say, Resin, I would appreciate that. And in return, anything that I find out, I'll share with you.
Nods. Deal. I will see if I can get this
We
open.
met a good AC.
I'll see if I can get this opened for you, and thank you for the pint, and I will see what I can discover as well. I'm glad we were able to form this union.
So am I. I hope this is one of many conversations we'll have.
More than likely. Puts the book away, like again, this like showing, puts the book away, and he'll reach out to take the pint from you, which is so much bigger in his hands. It's like when you pour like a glass of water for yourself, and then your kid wants a drink, and you like hand the kid and they're like, you know, yeah.
All right. Well then, yeah. So obviously, I'm gonna find out, how we get in contact.
You did get a Viggo's,
suppose.
you did get a Winifred's, by the way, Viggo, in case you needed it. But continue.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to obviously find out how we can contact each other and establish a line of communication there.
Yeah, of course. It's one of those like, address it to here. Things will be nice and easy, and we can see what we can do for the future. And and they'll make their way down the stairs carefully with their flask of blood, and eventually leave. This leaves Pan and you. You guys kind of finish up your chat, and then of course you can go over and speak to Viggo if you'd like.
Yeah. So he would just basically.
I would imagine Pan comes over for this conversation unless you're trying to have it be private.
No, I don't think he would try and have it be private. It just once everything's sort of finished, it's just, but it wouldn't be anything more than just like confirming what was like learned in the room, and just we don't need to RP it out, and just confirming like what's happening going forward, and then to go pass out.
Sure. So, did you want to jump into the RP, or is there anything Jake wanted to share with you or someone?
I don't think my part doesn't need to be RP'd. If you've got anything, Jake.
And Pan definitely has something to offer, but go ahead.
Oh, I would also give him the report with everything that happened that he can give to someone. Okay. And he would note the parts that he left out for you, which is the Abstergo 13 and the Loaf of Magics. But I would have mentioned that there was an assassin, a strange assassin, and that someone tried to retrieve their corpse but failed.
Yeah, the one thing I would note to Gallon is say this report, which it goes into detail right about the assassination attempt and like that kind of thing, right?
That's someone tried to assassinate me, and
I would say this report is more something I think for the Dwayne here.
That's what I was.
And the local authorities, and he'll hand it back to you.
Okay, if that's the case, I would. Correct. I will update it with all the information ready to be given to the door now.
We will only concern ourselves as far as the locals are concerned with our matters here. Anything that pertains to other things, I think would be better handled somewhere else.
Pan actually, hearing this, nods and says, I'll be honest with you, I would do the same exact thing with who I report to.
Yeah, Viggo would nod. He'd say to Yelena, this creature, this heron, Viggo says with like a drawn out response, I've never seen anything like this before. And from how that played out, this is extremely interesting. The parallels between this and what we learned in Events.
That's what I was thinking.
I can't. I could. I'm going to have a look at the body. I think there may be much gained if I can figure out anything different about its physiology or anything that might point us to what exactly, whether this is a parent that somehow extended their life so far that, but it's still youthful. It's enigma, one I hope to unravel.
They asked me questions when I was under their control. They asked me what I was doing here, but once they learnt it, they seemed to act like it was. They specifically said mundane. It was not what they were looking for. They seem to be part of a bigger plan of some kind, one that clearly that didn't attain for the fact that Abstergo 13 is a thing. They seem to clearly be surprised that that was the case, that he was, quote, free.
Were you leaving out the Abstergo 13 things with Pan? Or were you including them? I can't remember.
I mean, she was here part of the conversation. She doesn't know what it says on the report.
Look,
so she just knows weird body and whatnot. But go ahead.
I would, okay, in that case, I wouldn't say Abstergo 13. I would maybe just say 13.
Okay. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah. I see.
So that was, and once they learned that I wasn't part of what was they were clearly thinking I was a part of, it just tried to kill me. It turned around, walked away, and my heart nearly stopped.
The more I think about it, the more I keep. This has got to be connected with the events.
Yeah, I think it.
She'll chime in at this point and says, I was both in Yovance and here, strangely enough, at the same time as you. But that being said, I don't see quite the connections between what happens there and here. What transpired in Yovance that seems so linked?
Viggo looks at Galen and kind of just gives him a long, drawn-out look, and he says, before Galen goes to speak, he says to Pam, "What did you find out in Yovance?"
I was there for my own tasks, as you know, and we can't go sharing everything, as I see the two of you are trying to be a little subtle with your own knowledge, and I respect that. But in Yovance, my responsibility was to go and look after what was happening. I was supposed to make sure that the coronation went as it was supposed to go, but more importantly, look into how it was that the previous prince had died. I think you've already discovered that.
Viggo looks at her and says, "Are you sure we weren't sent by the same person?"
It raises an eyebrow. I wasn't sent from Dwayne.
It was more a joke, man.
I forget the when we ran into each other at the stables, you were clearly gathering info from that guard. Did you get his story?
Which guard was this? So sorry.
This was the
guard we threatened and said, if you say anything,
or the guard that saw what happened inside the room.
Yeah, we called him. We said he's a traitor, and he will be dealt with as a traitor if he opens his mouth.
She just gives you a bit of a coy smile and says, I have my ways of getting information.
So you know that the situation regarding the prince was strange, the fight.
Her smile drops and she says, yes.
Okay, name noted for later. I'm going to tell the former master of war that guy's a traitor, and we're going to get him...
No!
Poor guy.
She probably used magic, poor guy. Anyway, then I would sort of like look to Viggo as like, okay, the go ahead to at least explain a little bit, given that she knows about that. Sort of look over for the nod.
Viggo openly says, Galen, this is all you.
That fight. You've already seen that my magic is different, right?
She nods and says, yeah, I actually what I was going to offer is you said that you were going to investigate this body up here was to use the spell that I just used downstairs. Because when I investigated that room before, granted, I was there well after the fact, but I can see magical auras stretching back greater distances, like greater periods of time. I couldn't see anything there. I couldn't see anything then.
I won't go into too much detail, but I don't know someone who... correction. I only know one person who has the powers to do what I heard about in that fight and saw the evidence of afterwards.
Raises an eyebrow.
And now I know two. And I sort of gestured to the room.
Huh. Okay. Who's the other?
That's where things get a little more difficult for me to talk about.
Raises an eyebrow.
Viggo will dismiss the guard from the room where the body is for right now.
Oh, I'm assuming we're not talking in front of the guard. I assume we've moved away from the guard. The guy is inside the room at the moment.
Inside. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I would then just sort of say, I will just say the person who trained me.
Nods.
And now I know the person who trained me is very much against whoever attacked me. So these people are not allies.
Nods again.
What I don't
Anyone
know
against
is...
Paradel is against us all.
Agreed. But what I don't know is the relation between this assassin and the prince.
Well, let's see if we can discover exactly that. I certainly know that this is something that all of us would be interested in learning. Hey, inner workings and all.
Indeed.
Well, as for what was discovered downstairs, she says, kind of almost like turning the subject and bringing it Viggo so he's fully involved. As I was explaining to Galen earlier, when I spoke with Triss, I was being a little bit reserved with my magic, and so I didn't use one of my finer spells. You're familiar with detecting magic. I have a better version of that, where I can see auras, as I just said, stretching back an extra period of time, though not indefinitely. And I can kind of pick up signatures of the person who casts the spells, but not always. It's not infallible. It's a relatively new ability of mine, but nonetheless, it's something I've learned in my time fiddling with the fundamentals of magic. That being said, Viggo, I was able to discover those details about who had cast the prestidigitation downstairs. So if I come across that person's castings again, there's a chance that I'd be able to identify that person. Or if I were to cast such a spell on the individual, there's a really good chance I'd be able to pick that up. So the reason why I was asking about the body next door is if I use this spell on the corpse over there, perhaps it will be identified that they were the one that used the prestidigitation. That was, of course, before Galen explaining to me that they used a different and unique type of magic. Now, I don't know if it would work. As I said, you're saying that the magic this person in the room, the corpse in the room used, is similar to what was used at the prince's home. I tried to discover to the prince's home, but I got there so much after the battle transpired that maybe I couldn't detect it because it can't be detected, or maybe just too much time passed and so it couldn't be detected.
From what I understand, it needs to be a unique... It needs to be my type of magic detecting it, as far as I know.
She shrugs. I will put that under suggestions.
I'm not going to stop you from trying, though. He sort of gestures to Viggo, like, yeah, go, essentially, like, go for it.
Yeah, Viggo lets out a long sigh and he says, well, I've got work to do. You should get some sleep, Galen.
Yes, I should.
Shouldn't you sleep as well? You look terrible.
Lucky for me, I popped a lesser restoration, so I'm good for now.
Doesn't that only hold it off for? That's like having a really stiff cup of coffee.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
As
well,
Galen like walks away,
things
he's
need
like, "Yeah, you should
to,
sleep."
you know, things need to happen now. This body was almost taken once before. Let's get as much knowledge out of it as we can now.
She nods appreciatively and says, "Just don't push yourself to the brink of self-destruction. Do you want help?"
You know what?
I'm not
I'd
getting my
love to.
hands dirty.
You're also not getting the credit.
Fair.
And they'll go in, dismiss the guard, obviously.
And are you done with the other two bodies? Do you just like leave those there because there's nothing else to do with them right now?
I assume that the military are going to have probably the like clerics of Lady Eraville or something come in and do whatever funeral rites.
Secure
Cool.
them.
I didn't
for
know if you
funeral,
had any
yeah.
reason to I didn't know if you had any reason to want to look into the bodies anyway. If there was any additional strands or any avenues, because I'll gladly have the military come and take them. And I just wanted to make sure that you were 100% done, because your character obviously was, following a bunch of different.
My character's
paths,
also
avenues,
tired.
thoughts. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though, like you said, had a good cup of coffee, now got another job to do. He's, as far as he's concerned, he's done everything he can do with them.
Okay. So, she'll walk by that room with you, and she'll just simply say, "Sad, isn't it?"
Very.
And then you guys can go into the room where you can start searching over the corpse. Jake, obviously you're going to start looking over this body. She will lend whatever aid she can. Give me half a tick to look that over. I think what she can technically do is just inspire competence to you. As a bard, she can give you +2 competence bonus and skill checks. Let's see. Ooh. She's actually at... Yeah, it's just a +2 competence bonus on skill checks. She doesn't get to add any more than that. Give me 1 second to see if there's anything else she can do beyond inspire competence. As a bard, she also has lore master, so she can take a 10 of knowledge checks that she has ranks in. A bard can choose not to take a 10 instead. Once per day, they can take a 20 on a knowledge check as a standard action. So,
Well, they can just choose to take a 20?
Once a day as a standard action.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So she can choose to take a 20 on a... well, the thing is, for her, you do a knowledge nature. For her, it has to be a heal check. And that's not a knowledge check, so that wouldn't guide you. So she wouldn't really be able to do much there. For her to even try to aid you, she'd have to roll a heal check. She says she's not going to get her hands dirty, but do you want her to physically try to aid you by like handing you equipment or kind of like what you call it? Or do you want her to just tell you like fun stories and be just like overall, just like a nice person to be around who kind of like keeps the mood light and the energy high while you're getting your job
I think
done?
that is the best thing to do.
So you don't want her to also make a skill check to aid another?
No.
Okay, cool. So then she's simply going to give you a +2 to your check with her inspire competence as being a leveled bard. And just looking over everything else that she has here, I don't think I see anything else that's useful for her. So I'm just going to allow that to play out. In the meanwhile, I'm just gonna run my my coffee cup upstairs. Brittany's gonna make me a coffee and bring it back down to me while you make your knowledge, nature, dissect person skill check. So I'll be back in about 30 seconds.
All right, thanks. All right, you ready for this, Tash? I'm waiting, Tash. Are you ready?
Alrighty. I'm watching.
All right. Using I got a Winifred's Wisdom, right? I'm pretty sure someone said that. Scott said that.
Oh yeah, you did.
So
This would be the time to use it.
This is a great
If
time.
that's
to use
okay
it.
with you, it's up to your choice.
Oh, I'm definitely using it. All right. So, and she gave me a +2. He said, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, this should be a decent check anyway, even if it's really low because we don't have crit fails or anything in here, and you don't automatically fail skill checks.
Yes.
All right, so let's go. Knowledge, nature. Do I have anything to help me? I don't believe so. Do I have anything?
I like the fact that Virgil's just in the corner watching this. Because I've left him in there. I would have left him in there.
All right, I don't. All right, ready, set.
Oh! Nice. You can relax. That was a fantastic roll. Scott, look at that
There we
roll.
go.
Look at it.
Look at that roll, Scott. I use the winnies, by the way.
You're muted for us.
Does that include everything?
That includes everything.
Like 100%? Her too,
Yep.
lore too, all that stuff?
Yep. It just doesn't. Oh, it doesn't include the law. With the law we add on after, but I don't think that counts over like a thing. I don't know. Does the law gem apply now?
Why wouldn't it?
Okay, then that is 40...
Yeah, that's added after.
Oh, wait,
So
hold on.
43.
No, that's right, because you're doing it instead of a heal check. You're not doing a like knowledge recall.
Yeah.
You're doing it as like research. No, never mind. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
Did you want to what's the word I'm looking for? Luck it to see if you can get to 45, or do you think that's just being greedy?
I mean, that is being greedy, but I mean, I'm gonna put it to chat. Should I luck this? I mean, it is a 41.
Yeah, I agree with like.
Is this something that
I'm good each way.
is super important that I should luck?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it could be or it might not be, but it could be.
Yeah. I mean, like Viking said, 41 is pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy.
I almost want to do it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like, do you want to do it just to say you hit a 45?
Well, what is
It's a 25% chance.
what does Joey always say?
Joey does always say luck it.
No, that's not exactly what he says. What does he exactly say?
I don't know. My brain
I
is
have no
mush.
idea.
I don't know.
I'd assume he says luck it.
He says, "Fuck it, luck it."
Oh! Hey! Fuck
Damn.
yeah.
It pays
That was
off.
worth it.
Yay.
That was 100% worth it.
Nice. All right.
Joey says, I'm a god.
Please give me some, Scott.
I really hope
Give me some.
that Joey, when he says that, is quoting Crit Roll. One of the characters in Crit Roll says, we're basically gods before dying by falling off a cliff. They got revived, but still.
No. Joey says it because of the snake god person. All right. So
okay.
yeah. So let's continue. So yeah, with your 45 check to try to understand this thing. This is, by all stretches of the imagination, so physically similar to that of Perrin, except for a couple important details. The body is so young. Like, it looks old on the outside to you in the sense that the elongated features, the ears, the eyes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but the skin is still young and elastic and doesn't have any wrinkles or fading or liver spots or anything like that on it, right? So it looks young, and on the inside, the same thing. It looks so incredibly young. But also, you notice something different about the cells that are inside here, too. It almost feels like the whole body is dying very, very rapidly. Like, it's actually decomposing more rapidly than you would typically expect. The skin, the muscles, the bones. Like, it's only been dead for what, a handful of hours, but it already seems like they've been kind of decomposing for the sake of, like, you know, a couple weeks. Like, it's not giving off a smell, thank God, but that's probably because of the lingering scent of honeysuckle. You know, but it's decomposing very rapidly. That's at least true for most of the body. at least until you get to those very, very strange thin strands. You haven't finished deciding what name you want to use for these thin strands that you notice whenever you properly dissect bodies, but you know that they branch off of the spine, and the spine connects to the mind. To put it into the modern day phrasing, it's nervous system. Like, that doesn't seem to be decomposing anywhere near as rapidly. As a matter of fact, it seems perfectly fresh. You know, it only died a few hours ago, so on and so forth. So whereas the body seems to be decomposing, like a couple of weeks had passed, the nervous system seems to be intact. Nothing wrong with it. Do you actually crack open the skull as part of this process?
With a 45, you bet.
So you crack open the skull, and one of the things that you notice inside is that the brain in there almost seems to have the room that you're in, I imagine, is bright, right? Like, you're obviously going to be putting as much light as possible inside there. Despite that, you can almost see there's like a little, like, almost like a glow coming off of the brain, to the point when you actually go and touch the brain for the first time, you can feel a minor jolt. It's not something that hurts you or anything like that, but you can actually feel almost like there's still an energy field around the brain itself, much like even though the body's dead, like, you almost get the impression that the brain itself is still alive, at least mildly. Most people, when they die, they're dead. Like, you know, as far as you understand the way these things function, you know, priest, or you don't waste your time with that kind of stuff. You're more into the sciences. But as far as you understand, the thing that people call a soul passes on within moments to minutes of dying. This thing's been hours, but there still seems to be some semblance of activity going on inside of it. It's almost alarming, the fact that you're like, is this thing aware? Is it capable of sensing or understanding what's being done to its body? Like, you don't know.
That's horrifying.
But
Yep.
but it does seem like, again, the brain, the spine, and again, you wouldn't have necessarily phrasing for it, but like the spinal cord, I should say, you wouldn't have necessarily phrasing for it, but more or less its nervous system seems to still be intact to it's not decomposing yet. You understand that obviously like the way that the body's structured is so very similar to Perrin, but obviously, like, where it prioritizes the nutrients and whatnot is pretty obvious, as this is being kept alive while everything else is being drained to do so. Beyond that, there's a little more than you can understand. So you can see that the body has shifted many times over the years. You can see where breaks have happened but have had seamless repairs. You know, like if you're looking at a bone, you can see where a break has happened but a seamless repair has also transpired as well. I say seamless, but a perfect repair sans the seam being there, right? But like not one that leaves for an easy break in the future, but you notice the fact that has transpired at points in time. You can see where injuries are on the body or whatever, but again, they've healed with nothing but the tiniest of markings on there, ones that you would even notice from standing. If they were standing buck naked in front of you, 4 feet ahead of you, you wouldn't notice them. It's only by taking a body part and bringing it up close and with the right lighting and seeing how it shimmers off of it that you can see where the repairs were almost perfect. Kind of like how a healing potion or whatnot might do it, giving you the idea that maybe they use a lot of healing magics or what have you. Either way, so you can see a lot of these markings or whatever on them. It lends to the idea that this body before you, this creature before you, leans a lot of its focus onto its central nervous system, not the rest of it. Almost like its body is literally just a meat container to keep the central nervous system alive and functioning, as opposed to it all being a symbiotic relationship between one another like it would be for you. It's strange. It's unique. There's a little more, unfortunately, you can get from it than that. But needless to say, the amount of notes and understanding that you can get from this creature is stuff that you're going to be able to pull to in the future. So mark down somewhere on your character sheet that you have succeeded a DC 45 knowledge check to understand loper physiology. Okay? So this is an important thing because it will play in the future if you ever have to kind of like pull to this knowledge. And certainly you can store this knowledge in your lore gem for the +2s moving forward as well.
That is fantastic. Dude, I wonder if you'd be able to tell if someone was a disguised Loper corpse with this.
It is very, very possible. And
That's
Anno,
sick.
that has actually been proven to be wrong. We are not meat mechs for our brains. As we've learned, a lot of how our brains function are based off of our symbiotic relationships with like our gut bacteria and stuff like that. We are as much our bodies as we are our brains. The idea that we're just in here and control everything else is proven to be very, very false. As we better understand the human psyche. So if you take like a Walt Disney and you chop his head off and freeze it somewhere and want to attach it to something else later on, you're not going to get the same Walt Disney in the future. It's just unfortunately not how it works. You're going to get a modified version of that person's psyche and personality and whatnot. With this, oh, shut up, you. With this, it very much feels like the body is in fact a meat mech for their brain, to use Anno's words. It is Krang. I.R. Krang. Y'all remember Krang?
So
I was imagining the like the Daleks, but inside a person.
I was going Ninja Turtles. My apologies. Go ahead.
all right, so I've just come to the conclusion that once this knowledge kind of gets a little bit public, I can write the Lopa physiology dissertation paper, and that's how I'll stop being a metahina.
Oh, so do you start working on it right now?
Oh, I'm
Well,
gonna-
not tonight, but it's one of those
I
things. You're
will
like,
know.
I'm going to start.
Oh, definitely. It's
I will
definitely.
know.
something
We
that's
do
going
not
on
know
now.
the name Lopa. 13
no,
never
we don't.
said it to me.
Of course, no, we don't. But this is strange. That's why I said
Yeah.
when everything comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But one thing I will do is if there are any, obviously I don't know if you'll allow me with that check though, but anything to am I able to take any samples or anything? You know what I mean?
You can do whatever you
see how
want.
they
That's your
react.
body.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm going to take samples of like the nervous system. and all that-
Would you be
all
able
that
to
stuff.
take samples and preserve them a bit better, considering how fast they're?
Best you can do for
um,
preservation is if you want to go and buy something like a formaldehyde or like vinegars and stuff like that and soak them inside there. Otherwise, you don't have magical
You said
preservation.
the nervous system wasn't doing that though, right?
No, that isn't decaying as fast. Yeah, the nervous system's fine. It's just the rest of it.
Yeah, it's adding on to what Tesh just said there. It seems like the nervous system's almost feeding off of the body to maintain itself longer.
I see.
So it will probably start degrading faster, not as fast, but faster once it runs out of.
It's funny
Funny.
that Norway says that because there literally are rules for transplanting. It's grafting. For transplanting like organs and stuff like that for things that seem to live beyond its removal from where it came from. Like that is not entirely impossible. Just like your character wouldn't necessarily. Actually, your character would think of that stuff because you're literally a vivisectionalist, aren't you?
Yeah.
I gotta Google
Gallon's just like,
vivisectionalist now. Reminder, vivisectionalist, or vivisectionist. Sorry. What level do you get that ability? Torturous transformation.
That's it's next level, isn't it?
It's next level when you want to. When was the last time you guys leveled, anyways?
You said we can level. We were supposed to level.
Actually,
last
yeah, we
week,
were leveling straight
but,
after this.
So we'll be leveling.
Oh yeah,
after
that's
this.
right. Oh yeah, that's right. Literally after this RP, we can level and whatnot because
Yeah.
that way we can spend some time doing that or whatever, and
That works, yeah.
Yeah. So torturous transformation is literally an ability that you get. At 7th level, you also get a feat. Aren't there grafting feats in? So
Oh god, Tash, are you ready? You ready to be
ready.
You'll be a test subject, Tash.
It'll be
See-
fine.
we
I'm
can
ready.
see how this goes.
I'm not ready. Not ready at all.
flesh warper is technically it's supposed to be evil alignment, but hold on, I'm curious about this. So flesh warper is it's flesh crafting. You can add like antenna to people, which the subject becomes blinded, but they get blind sight. There's like like flesh warping. Here I'll pop this inside
That name
Roll 20 chat.
I was okay with it till that name.
Um,
Flesh warping is like, oh boy, that's something else.
well, that's a Pathfinder feat. There's another Grafting was a 3.0 thing. So there's blue flesh crafting poison. I don't even know what that is. You can create a flesh crafting poison capable of mimicking one monster ability. Brewing a poison takes 1 day. When you critic flesh crafting poison, you set the cast level, which can no longer the base. I don't know what it does. It's cast level 10th, anyways, but I don't know what it does. All right, weird. So the flesh crafting, flesh warping. Because I'm not sure what flesh crafting refers to some sort of drow art, which is weird. So flesh warping.
Well, I mean, they do drider stuff, don't they? So maybe it's something to do with that.
Okay, so flesh warping, it does sound like a vivisectionalist approach, which is literally shifting something inside of somebody, not necessarily transplanting. So you can imagine transplanting would be part of it too. But that's actually literally adding extracts to more or less cause mutations in your body to blah, 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 right? So let me do D&D 3.5 grafting feats. D&D tools. So there's elemental grafter, plant grafting, deathless flesh grafter, graft flesh. Let's see, there's 3 different versions of this. Fiend Folio, Libris Mortis, and Lords of Madness, I think, is the most recent one. I think it's the last publication. So you'd want Lords of Madness, I think, was the newest of those 3 books. Because Libris Mortis is 3.0, I think, and Fiend Folio is definitely 3.0. Illithid Flesh, UNT, Grell Alchemy, weird. Did I do Deathless? Yeah, so let's look at that one. Deathless Flesh Crafting requires knowledge religion, which is funny. This one requires heal. Graft Flesh requires a heal skill, which you would do your other ability. Instead, choose the type Aboleth, Illithid, or Silthalar.
Oh my god, Aboleth. Illithid. Oh my god.
Yeah, because it's from Lords of Madness. So hold on, maybe that's why. It's maybe each book offers different types, and that's why. So because this one is also offers undead, UNT, fiendish beholder, so on and so forth. This one offers
there's
different types.
There's a form of Aegis, psionic Aegis, that's all about mutating extra limbs, and it would have gone great with Jake's character. It's like the whole thing is like aberration, like having like 9 limbs.
I mean, I won't lie, it's cool sounding. It's a pain in the ass to actually like play mechanically, but it's really cool. Like the
whole build was to get as many attacks a turn as possible,
which is why it's a pain in the ass, because you're not playing a video game where you click a button and everything just plays out for you.
You're like,
one at a time.
It's easier on this than it would be in person. In person, that would be hell.
Yeah, yeah. And mind you, we played a game where somebody had 9 attacks a round before.
Oh my god! No, thank you.
It was.
Well, actually, I say that at level 7, I will have 4 attacks around.
Yeah, it was one of those things where more or less we just allowed other people were able to kind of like shift their focus from combat and become more of because you had 2 big combat people, other people became support, so like it split up the. Either way,
yeah.
My whole point here, Jake, is that if you wanted to do something along that route that Norway suggested. I mean, I know Norway is like the most evil person in chat, and so, that's why he made such suggestions as he's sitting there cackling like fucking Frankenstein, Dr. Von Frankenstein. But things like that are an option for you, Jake. As of 7th level. If you wanted to, I'm not even joking, if you wanted to take...
Give me 1 sec. I just cut out for like you were frozen for a good 30 seconds. I have no idea.
I said Norway is super evil, and then I said, but he came up with an idea that is totally feasible. If we had a feat for you, you could, in theory, literally graft things like parts of the nervous system of a Loper into somebody like Tesha's character, and that would enhance his latent psionic ability, not latent, his active psionic abilities. You would enhance his nerve. That's literally, it's controlled by your nervous system. If we didn't already understand that canonically before, you fucking just discovered it now, So, I mean, again, like Loper magic was such like a ethereal thing for how many years in Aurorum, but now we've discovered it's psionics, right? And now
I mean, if that's a so what's the fate? Is it the flesh warper?
We'll have to decide how it's
Oh,
phrased
yeah.
and done, but I am fine with. But the only way it would work is if you grab the feet, and mind you, it's skill checks. You could technically fail. Yeah. How could this possibly go wrong? You could technically fail, and things can go sideways. Doesn't mean it can't be later corrected, but you could technically fail skill checks to make this work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just like crafting an item.
A good thing we put a. So we're putting a pause on where we are now, are we?
Not yet.
Still going?
So
Okay, yeah.
after you and Pan are done spending hours working on this, your character again sadly falls back into fatigue and whatnot, and so you're looking tired again. And as you're like working your way into the night, so it's like the middle of the night of you doing hours of this kind of work or what have you. And then she kind of like looks and you know, as she's also getting tired, and says, I imagine you're like buzzing with energy, but like overexhausted energy, right? Imagine you're buzzing with energy with this understanding, this deeper understanding of what you can do and how you can do it and blah, blah, blah. I also imagine, because you're literally gaining the ability for the, as you level up, the vivisectionalist ability, the torturous transformation, because like the way that your stuff is supposed to work is alchemical sciences. I imagine no matter what, you're taking part of their body's bits and bobs, and you're going to use that for your alchemical reagents that you use to do those new abilities, right? So
yeah,
I imagine she looks tired. She looks at you and she's like, you're a machine, aren't you? I swear, if you made love the way that you research, you will one day make someone very happy.
appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. Which, by the way, she's not hitting on you. You're covered in blood. Like, either way, she just kind of like looks about, and she's like gesturing towards all the bits and bobs that you have on trays, plates, jars, flasks, so on and so forth. She goes, "Truly, are you going to keep all of that?"
As much as I can. They're all. This is all so interesting. It's a shame my mind is alive and racing, but my body is shutting down. Limitations of the parent body.
Is she human or parent? I always forget. She's parent too. She says, "I think all people shut down with time."
Yes.
You
know what's funny? So I was trying to find one of those rings of sustenance, and Daelric said that they were double the price, so I didn't get it.
The god Daelric.
She says, well, is there more research to be done here? I mean, you're not truly still trying to remove every, you called them vertebrae, from the spine, are you?
I think I've removed a good like bit of it now, right?
Yeah. You can imagine you've already like literally removed you've cracked off a whole bunch, like you've cut open the back. You've literally cracking off of each vertebrae to expose more of the spine, just to see how reactive the whole damn thing is.
I think this is a good time to put an end. I think that's what we'll do.
She nods and says, "Perhaps you should clean up." "I don't have to," and find yourself some rest. I'll go downstairs and you need a snack before you go to sleep? Sometimes after a long night's work, I need a snack before I go to sleep.
I could eat. You can't do that prestidigitation thing, can you?
She nods. "I can."
Like, put a bucket on the side. In there, please.
Do you say anything?
I'm waiting expectantly.
Oh, she goes, "Well, I'll let you clean up then," and goes to leave the door.
And if she goes to turn, I'd say, would you mind helping? I know this takes a lot less time for you.
She looks around and goes, yeah, but I'm no mage. I'll literally just scoop everything and throw it in there. You put away what you need to first, and I can help out with the rest.
Okay. He nods, and then he'll like clean up all his stuff, all his samples and all that stuff.
Yeah, she lacks like the finite finesse or what have you of So I mean, honestly, prestidigitation done by a bard, that's more or less just kind of like you can imagine almost like a Disney princess singing, and then like the Fantasia buckets come to life. Anyways, so she makes she goes downstairs to, like, as I get a snack. She comes back up about a minute and a half later, and just opens the door. So you stand there and goes, Viggo, and you're kind of like, yeah, Viggo, and you turn and you see that she has another guard standing there, and they have like a sword to her. From what I understand, the Centurion of War would like to have a word.
Lovely. Am I getting woken up before I finish my sleep?
I mean, you're still sleeping at the moment, but. The soldier takes a peek in the room and says, "In the name of the gods," turns and looks down the hallway and says, "A lot more guards!" And just starts yelling. And I imagine that will wake up Tesh and what the hell's his name? So Tristan. So we'll have to deal with that little bit of RP in the COW.
Do I get rest? Is my fatigue gone?
You get some rest. You don't get a full.
Is my fatigue?
Well, hold on. I don't know, Jake. How late do you want this to be? Do you want to say that a proper, 8 hours of sleep has transpired, or 6 hours of sleep?
Well, it doesn't need to be 8 hours. I
just want to know 6 hours of sleep is what it has to be.
I cannot get anything else. Okay, I just want to get rid of fatigue. And realistically, how long would it have been? Because
that's fair. Why don't we have chat go ahead and roll us 2d8 plus 2 for how many hours it was. Oh my! So I said d8. Sorry. 2d4 plus 2. So two different people roll a d4. Two different people roll a d4. I said that wrong. 2. Okay.
That's 4 hours so far.
Yep. And the last roll is only 5 hours. That's not enough to get rid of fatigue. In Pathfinder, you need 6 hours of sleep before a full rest, 6 hours of sleep plus, or plus another 2 hours of relaxation. So your fatigue is still there.
Tristan would have gotten it though.
Tristan's fine.
Yeah, Tristan's fine. I'm not. That's I'm
Neil saved by the kitty
anyway. I don't want to fight anyway.
So he'll get full 8 hours. He would have all of his abilities back. Continue, sir.
Going back to what I said before, though, do we technically have to report to this guy?
The COW?
Yeah.
I mean, the Centurion War is currently the commander in the one that has charge in the whole city. So because you're dealing with city matters, you probably have to give them some details. You know what I mean? But technically speaking, you only had to report to that one time because you were suggested like use them if you need to, so on and so forth. But now that you got them involved, they're involved with you. But considering you're being taken at like sword point, we'll see how that plays out. Can't really go into it much more than that. Dova gave you another luck die because they feel bad about rolling a 1.
Given someone the odd guards, the way that Gallon would burst out would be to like burst out and be like, what's happening?
And we'll get to that next session, kind of like picking up with you guys waking up and being explained. But like to be clear, just so we know going into next week, 100% no doubt in our minds, these are definitely Paradel soldiers that you see there. At the very least, people wearing Paradel uniforms, right?
Yeah.
And you already know that word was sent to the COW, and the COW kind of like did their own thing, and you have minor suspicions or whatever of that, and we'll have to have that play out afterwards.
Yeah, this isn't helping those minor suspicions.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. But in the meanwhile, while we're here, and we can't really push on without Neil because it's just like not appropriate to do so, and certainly Neil would want to participate in that kind of RP. And also Neil will eventually want to hear what the hell happens.
Time a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, it does, because now you guys are in the middle of the night. Honestly, I would say this probably brings you to about like midnight, 1 a.m. ish, right? When this is transpiring. Jake's character.
Every success that I get is just marred by bullshit every time. Every single time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Every well thought out plan and good like execution is then just marred. I'm so frustrated.
I mean, what? This is you succeed. You have all this wonderful success.
Do I at least get to level?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's get to rest.
Let's do the level up. We're here for another hour. Let's do the level up. Let's have fun.
I'm gonna make a coffee real quick while let up.
You go right ahead.
So I'm good for this.
You need what?
I need a break for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. Walk off.
Perfect.
I'm gonna start looking stuff up. You just turn off your camera, and I'm gonna keep mine on. I'm gonna stay here and chat for a couple minutes.
I won't be that long. I'll be back to help chat.
I'm just trying to remember what book had the. I think it's actually the Eberron book, Magics of Eberron. Give me 1 second. It's really sad when you can remember what is inside what. So I haven't played 3.5 in so many years, and this shit is still so locked in my goddamn head from all the years of playing. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts how much of the shit is in my head. Josh doesn't need a break. He's just miserable. Don't mind him. I'm sorry that he's behaving this way today. All right. So what page did I just see that in? Graphs is page 126 inside Magics of Eberron, in case anybody owns that book and also wants to check it out. What did I just say? 126? I honestly don't remember what I literally just said. Yeah, that's right, because here's the Warforged components. They can literally attach to your body, and here's graphs. So graphs have a certain cost to them. Like legs of the Undying Marcher, or like Scorching Gaze, or like Fatigue Spores.
I had to put. I got my groceries today. I had to put one of my milk bottles in the sink because it had a puncture in it. It's fully drained.
Fun.
Yep, that was money wasted. Lovely.
What was the race of people that were psionic in Eberron?
I definitely do not know.
There was the Quarry, which were the otherworldly creatures from the dreamscape, and then there was the Kalashtar, is what they were called, Kalashtar, and so the Kalashtar. But I'm pretty sure you can get like Quarry graphs put on you. I think they're Quarry graphs because the Deathless were actually elves. Valinar, I think is the name of the nation. God, I haven't played Eberron in so long. So they used crystals as well. That's because psionics has always used crystals in D&D, so they kind of like kept the shtick. So let me do Eberron. I think it's QORI graphs. Is that how you spell quarry? It's been a while. QUORI. I wasn't sure if there was a U in there. That's a quarry subtype. Implants and symbiotes. That's right. There were implants and symbiotes that maybe gave the those abilities. Just like Deathless Visage. So deathless, brain, a wakeful mind. I don't know what that is. Plants, legs, symbiotes. So there's different symbiotes, but the symbiotes actually weren't. I think the symbiotes actually came from like demons or whatever. I don't think those were. Yeah, the symbiotes are almost like were grafted by the a different type of people, not. Oh yeah, by implanting parts of a conscious gemstone from a living construct, you no longer need to sleep and gain immunity to sleep effects. However, you still need a normal period of time to regain. So more or less, it makes you kind of like, yeah, that's a really cool thing. Oh, here's symbiotes. Here we go. Oh, that's right. They're from the Daelric. The symbiotes are from the Daelric from Zoriat. So they're from like the crazy people. What's up?
Second attack time.
Yeah.
Full bab, yay.
That's awesome.
It really is, actually.
I'm
also stoked about the customization points.
I like the idea, chat, Tesh and Jake as well, of coming up with a version of doing this, if that's the path Jake wants to go down. I have to know if it's the path before I invest any time, or we all kind of like look into this. But coming up with like some cool rules for him to be able to do this. Yeah, the Daelric are awful. The Daelric are pretty awful.
How do I put my proper bab into the bab section on the sheet now? Because I can't put another number, can I?
Hold on, where are you? Once you press 6, it should automatically do it for you.
Oh, it should.
Yeah, I'm trying to open up.
No, I don't think it will because mine's a custom class.
It should still do it. Once you put 6 on for your bab, and then go back over to main.
Oh, put 6 for my bab. Okay.
Yep. And then go back over to the main sheet, and boom, it worked. Yep.
Oh, it did. Where am I looking for? Oh, well, I see. Yeah.
Yep. So now when you make the attack roll, you have to produce the +10 or the +5, right? And it looks like that, so you can see the two differences.
I need to tap back to roll 20. Ah, cool. Yep.
Yep. So you can see the difference if you hit the 10 or the 5 versus if you click
the
whole name. If you click the whole name, it rolls it like this, but we don't usually do that.
Sadly, I get nothing for my class other than augment point.
Yeah, I wasn't actually even looking at yours yet. I was looking at Jake's because his is kind of convoluted.
Yeah, no, this is an easy level for me. I get power points, augment points, and saves and full bab. But other than that, I'm simple.
All right.
I get 525 for my saves now, which is really nice.
So a graft is not psionic, nor is it magical. Yeah, so there's things like illithid grafts, which give you like brain mate and stuff like that. These are old from Faerun, old Faerunian ones. That existed there. But yeah, I can definitely see things like
Whoa, why do I have so many ranks? 35 of 48? What? Why do I have so many what?
What are you talking about? Your skills are 6 plus intelligence modifier, which is 8. So you would gain 8 more skill points. So you should have 48 total.
I have 48 total. I only had 35 skill points before. What happened?
Let's see. Let's see what you did. You
did
said
I
you only
not...
had maybe you never fully spent yours. Maybe you had 40 before and didn't realize. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that maybe I didn't math it out properly. Oops. I spent a really long time with less skill points then.
It's very possible. Either or you just accidentally adjusted the number that's supposed to be. Maybe it's not supposed to be 6 plus. Maybe it's supposed to be 4 plus, but you accidentally changed your ranks instead of BAB at first. So look at your class and see what it's supposed to be for your class.
Where does it say that on the class?
Usually right underneath health points.
Oh, I think I did change that. Where's class? Man,
this
I
chair
looked too
is
far
like,
down. Oh, yeah, no, I'm a derp. That changed by itself. I didn't need to change anything there. That was why I got such a massive bump. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Now I only have 35 or 36. What? Wait, well, hang on. Is that correct? I'm confused.
Oh, I'm trying to fix my chair. It's like killing me lately.
I was wondering what you were doing. You know, I'll move on to the PowerPoints and stuff while you do that, so I can make sure I have this stuff sorted. How many PowerPoints did I change?
7. Not you. I was answering chat. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was going to say my brain. No, we're not. We're not 7. We're 6.
Yeah. No, you're becoming level 7.
No, we're not.
Oh, Jake said that he gets Torturous Transformation at this level. That's level 7.
Did I miss a level?
Maybe you just forgot to change the number on there. I don't know. Maybe that's why your health point, your skill points jump so much. Is that you never changed the number on there? Hold on, let me look at Viggo, and let me look at what the fuck's his name, Triss.
If I missed a level and still killed the Lurpa.
I think I just assumed we were 6 for some reason. But
you guys were not. You were 5. You're going to 6. You do not get Torturous Transformation. You also do not get a free feat this level. So if that's a path that you want to go down, you're not going to be able to do it until the whole next level. Okay. That changes things. I'm not even going to waste my time with this brain project, but we have time in case for the next level in case you do. So you're level 6. Okay.
That I got very confused.
So right this level, you would usually get a discovery and swift poisoning, Jake. Let's see what Vivisectionalist takes away from you. None of that.
What's the part of the PowerPoint equation again? Just to double check that I've done this right.
It's on the basic powers page. So send me the link of whatever you're looking at, and I can find it from there.
That's in the psionic, the Aegis class.
Yeah, just send me that, and I can find it from there.
Okay.
And Jake, so do you have any other archetypes, Jake, or no?
Yeah, Beast Morph.
Okay, Tesh, you see at the top where it says Psionic class, right above Aegis, or Aegis? Click the button that says Psionics. Just click the button that says Psionics. Nope, not that one. Let me go back. Click the button that says Psionic classes and scroll down.
Oh, okay. So back. Psionic classes.
And now you're level 6. And,
oh, I see. Okay.
And what stat do you use?
Intelligence.
Wait, your number is what?
14.
So you have a 7. Sorry, you have a 6 bonus plus whatever your class gives you.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I have a 6 bonus plus. This is where it gets complicated because I get minus. I need to find out how many minuses I get.
Level. Oh, he's level 6. He loses swift poisoning, and instead he gets. Ooh. His mutagen grants him additional abilities and options. The alchemist gains his choice of 2 of the abilities listed on B-Shape 1 spell, which persists as long as a mutagen. He may select 2 different abilities each time he creates a mutagen. So now when you do Beast Shape, Jake, you get 2 abilities instead of 1. That's friggin' useful.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because you don't usually have dark vision, or so now you can have like scent and climb, or dark vision and scent, or what. Scent is usually a good one to always just be able to add to you, right?
Okay, good. So 9 minus 7 plus 6 is 15. I'm correct. Okay. 15 PowerPoints.
But you still get a discovery, Jake.
Yes, I do.
Did you already increase your levels so you can increase your skill points and what have you? Increase your numbers.
I'm just bringing up the sheet thing now.
Your extracts per day goes from your second level ones goes up by 1, so it goes from 2 to 3.
Yep.
So if you want to do that first, you automatically learn a couple new spells. You automatically learn, where is it? Spells known. It is can also add formula just like it does using the same cost. Wait, where is it? Every time you gain a level. plus an
Okay.
additional number of formula equal to his intelligence modifier. Each time you gain a level, you add one new formula of any level you can create. So you can add any one formula you want to your list.
Yeah.
Okay. You increase your level. So your stats, Jake, your BAB goes up to 4. Your reflex goes to 5, and your will goes to 2. Let me know if you need me to repeat that.
So it's 4, 5, 5, 2.
Yep. And then you
Yeah,
obviously adjust the number of spells. You know that you're going to add one new spell.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to gain the ability called improved beast form mutagen. So just make sure you copy and paste those details. Vivisectionalist gives you fuck all. So you don't need that. And lastly, let's look at discoveries, and then I'm going to shift my focus over to Tesh, who has the more unique class. You're level 6 now, so that opens up some new options for you.
I think my Psy Crystal actually gets more intelligent.
It probably does.
Yay!
Yeah.
He gets an extra piece of armor and an extra thing of intelligence.
Woohoo!
Which I don't know if that's enough to bump him up to. So his AC is now 18.
Jake, right now it'd be really cool to get cognitogen as a discovery.
I
Utilizing
have that.
what, you already have that?
Yeah, cognitogen.
Cognitogen.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I could be pronouncing it wrong, but I'm just doing it one
Yeah,
second.
no, the thing you're talking about, I have it.
Cool. All right, go ahead. You were saying something, Tush.
How many? Actually, never mind. I think it actually tells me how many skill points a level it gets in the thing.
It does. Yeah. In the modified version, because you have an archetype on it, I believe.
Yes, I do. It's the only reason it gets points. Otherwise, it wouldn't. Which is great because, yeah. So I get 4 every level. So I got 4 points to spend for him.
Have you ever used your cognitogen?
Once.
Really?
Yeah, I seem to be honest, I forget that I have it.
Dude, it makes you're a brain person. It makes your brain people brainier.
Yeah, I forget that I have it all the time.
That's hilarious. You have infusion, right?
And it.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I don't have.
They can't drink your potions?
Nope.
That's awesome. You have to literally craft potions for them. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I still think it's funny when my buddy Dave, that I played with him and Mike forever ago, he's like, oh, yeah, they can use my extracts, but my extracts are literally made from my blood, so you have to, like, suck it off of my wrist. And Mike was like, yeah, no, not my character would, no. He's like, fine, I just put drops of blood into the extracts I make to make it work. And I'm like, he's like, still weird, but I guess I'll let it slide. Just make sure my character doesn't notice it for a long time. Like, let me get addicted to the spells before I know where the source is, right? Like, let me fall in love with the meal before I find out the meal is maggots, you know? So funny. He's like, yeah, no.
Okay.
No. Parasitic twin. So weird. Pheromones?
Oh, his health also changes.
Chick, you want pheromones?
Time to roll for health.
That's actually really good, that, to be honest.
I'm going to open it for a second.
How do we roll for health again? Just roll the hit die?
Yeah, just bloop hit die, yeah. And then hope that you don't need chat to save you.
I'm pretty sure I've needed chat to save me every time because I've rolled like a 1. That was my first roll. So let's pray that doesn't happen this time.
Good luck. Roll a 4. That's below average. Now's when you slow blink at chat for 8 of the barter.
Ouch.
I rolled a 1.
I could deal with it, but if chat wishes to help, I'd be happy. But that's like manageable. That still gets me to 50. So that's something at least.
I'm almost done looking through the
43.
whatchamacallit so we can start.
Yeah, squishy boys indeed. I think the biggest thing I need to check out with my character is what's happening with the skill amount, because I clearly have done something.
Just
At
check and
some
make sure.
stage, whether it
What's it
was-
supposed to be for your class?
Well, that's the thing. It's whether I've got it right now and had it wrong before, or whether, because it could be that I've got it right now and had it wrong before.
Okay, I have a bunch of whatchamacallits open, Jake. I'm going to tell you their names, and then we're going to work through each of them at a time. By the way, did you guys write down Resin's name so you don't forget it?
No, but I'm writing it down as we speak.
And don't forget, he was offering you something called Old Mage. There's a hyphen between the two words Old Mage, okay? We can worry about that next time when we come back to it, all right?
Yep.
Cool.
Good
I'm just
AC.
closing some tabs because I don't need them open any longer before we continue.
Is the good AC. Is the nice
Okay.
one.
And that's already taken care of. All right. I don't need you anymore. All right, cool. So these are the names of the discoveries that we have as options. I don't even know what all of them do. I just clicked on them first. There's collective memory, infuse mutagen, pheromones, Promethean discipline, psychoactive bomb, vestigial arm. I know it sounds weird. I'll explain it in a second. And volumizer. Okay, so there's 2, 4, 6, 7. Collective memory requires a cognitogen discovery. While under the effects of the cognitogen, the alchemist adds half of your class level, so that's +3, to all knowledge skill checks and may attempt all knowledge skill checks even untrained. This bonus does not stack with the second intelligence bonus granted by the mind chemist archetype, which you don't have, so you're fine with it. So collective memory gives you a bonus to all knowledge checks, and you can make a check
I
even
am
untrained.
mind chemist.
Oh, you are?
It just doesn't offer anything as you level up further.
Oh, okay. So this is not worth it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we eliminate that option. Infuse mutagen. When an alchemist creates a mutagen, you can infuse it with a bit of his own magical power. This inflicts 2 points of intelligence damage to the alchemist, which, by the way, heals, and costs a number of damage. Sorry, it costs a number of gold pieces, blah, blah, blah. The short version is you can actually have a mutagen that isn't like your number of daily allotment. You can actually have one prepared and in your belt that you can have a second mutagen on hand. But more importantly, I think other people only mostly can be, hold on. Oh, so if you infuse a mutagen, this doesn't allow other people to drink the mutagen, but allows you to have 2 different mutagens on hand, Jake. Because right now, can you only have a regular or a cognitive, or can you have both?
I don't know.
That's something worth Googling and finding out what the overall decision is, because Infuse would allow you to have both on hand, or at least a second option on hand, which is nice. All right, so that's a maybe. Pheromones. You have...
Virgil has... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Virgil has 19 AC. I hadn't been upping it at all as we leveled. Virgil is 19 AC, flat-footed 17.
I mean,
he's a solid crystal.
it's always important that you take care of your pets as well. So let's see. The alchemist exudes an imperceptible musk that gives you +3 competence bonus to bluff, diplomacy, and intimidate. That's pheromones. It's competence, so it doesn't stack with any other competence, but that's still nice. Promethean discipline is a cool one. You discover how to craft constructs in a way that, but through alchemical research, you can craft construct utilizing blah, 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 blah. More or less allows you to make little homunculi or whatnot, like little wimpy, kind of like familiar.
Virgil gets to have a friend.
Yeah, I don't think that seems like you.
I'm taking that at a later point.
Oh, so you're not taking it yet, but you will eventually.
Yeah.
Let's nix it. Cool. Let's look at other ones. Let's look at a goofy one right now. Vestigial arm. You have the extra arm you found, and you know the nervous system stays alive for a long while, so I thought this would be a kind of a funny point. It also is weird and strange, and I personally don't like it because it's kind of out there and would certainly cause in-game serious reactions from those that discover it. Like Hunchback actually has an extra arm back there. But that being said, the alchemist gains a new left or right arm on their torso. This arm is fully under their control and blah, 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 blah. So you can have an extra arm kind of attached to you. It'd probably be a loper arm attached to you. Again, I don't know if that's something that you want, but by the way, Dova, you didn't tell me who was supposed to get the aid. Was it supposed to be Jake who rolled a 1 or Tesha rolled a 4?
I think Jake can have that.
We'll let Dover choose.
Jake, that's true. He can choose. Sorry.
By the way, so
That's an oof.
vestigial arm, is that something that tickles your fancy there, Jake, or is it nix it and
Nah,
keep going?
I
Okay.
don't think so.
All right, cool. Yeah, okay, Jake, you get
The one. Yeah, fair enough.
you get the reroll, Jake, if you want
Thank
to go
you,
ahead.
Dover. I
Good
appreciate
luck.
that.
You got this, I believe.
All right, you
I
ready?
don't. Roll 2.
You can roll max.
That's so much.
That's pretty
better.
good.
It's
so much better.
It's at least a half a point above average, so that's fine. Does anybody want to help test your roll below average with this 4 on a D10, or do you want to give Jake another reroll to try for higher, or are you guys all good? I'll throw that out
I'm
there.
good. Thank you very much for
All right, so
for
Jake,
giving me that.
back to you. Psychoactive bomb. I think this actually only works if you have bombs. Yep.
Yeah, I don't
doesn't
have that.
matter.
What I think I'm going to go with, to be honest, I think
I had one more.
pheromones.
I had one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
well.
Volumizer. You can use this extract. You can use an extract slot of any level to create a reactive tablet that purifies water and doubles its volume. It acts like purified drinking water for the maximum volume equal to da 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 da. I don't think this actually does what I thought it was going to. Give me 1 second. It says a receptacle sufficient. Tablet doubles pure water. Never mind. This doesn't do what I thought it did. More or less, you could have a flask and drop it inside of a flask, and it causes the flask to explode as there's too much volume inside it. But that. Never mind. That I thought it did something else, so we'll ignore that one. So it's infused mutagen and pheromones, but you like pheromones specifically.
Yeah, I think that would that'll be the best one to use. Yeah.
Okay.
Permanent +3 to bluff, diplomacy, and intimidate.
I mean, I wouldn't
The
say
bluff and
permanent.
diplomacy is really good.
I would say it's a permanent +3 competence bonus on bluff, diplomacy, and intimidation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you would add those under MISC, but it's important to note that it's competence when you put the ability in your character sheet.
Yes.
Yeah. The word I always have to look for is enhancement, because a lot of my stuff is either just flat bonus or enhancement, and if it's enhancement, I can't add enhancement. It's why like the stat boosting potions unfortunately don't do much for me, if in Dex at least. Because they're on enhancements.
All right. Oh, God damn it. I hate you. It's cog. Cognitive mutagen. What is it called? Cog. COGNATOGEN, not IN.
Yeah, Ian.
And then what's the other one called? MUTAGEN, I think. All limitations apply. So let me see what this says here. Okay, so this thing. So all limitations of mutagens apply to cogmutagens as if they were the same substance. An alchemist can only maintain one mutagen or cognitogen at a time. A cognitogen is not. Okay, so if you can only have a mutagen or a cognitogen, unless you chose the discovery infused blah blah blah. In which case you can have, like, let's say you're big, like, I do my mutagen that turns me into a beast or what have you. You can infuse that and always leave that in your pocket. But then your other mutagen or cognitogen, you can kind of shift day to day for free as you like. So that's the only thing I would say to counter your idea of going with pheromones, is if you like the idea of always having your transformation one in your pocket, but then having the other option readily available too if you need it.
Yeah.
But you might just prefer the pheromones.
Yeah, I think I'll go with pheromones this one.
Okay.
It's a good idea. It sounds strong.
Strong. All right, so now, Tesh, for you, Aegis, because I think that caps him off for everything he needs. He doesn't get a feat this level or anything like that.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that I screwed up my points previously.
It's 4 plus intelligence modifiers, what it says on here. Do any of your archetypes alter that? What are your archetypes? Trailblazer and Crystal Warrior.
Crystal Warrior.
Okay, so Crystal Warrior is, you probably just made the mistake right now, like literally right now, and never made it prior. So Crystal Warrior doesn't change skills in any way. Trailblazer only changes you get survival and lose UMD. That's it. So it's 4 plus, not 6 plus. So I bet if we change this configuration back to 4 plus,
I already did. That's why that's how I got to 36 now.
Oh, instead of the 35 or what have you before.
So it was saying 48 for a second. I was like, that's not right. That's 100% not right. So I changed. It went back to 36. I've allocated the point now. The points.
So you think you were slightly over? See, I don't know if you were 100% over.
I think I was over before. Yeah.
I just didn't know if you had any. Sometimes what you have is you have a free skill from like a magic item or what have you, and that gives you
definitely
extra
not
ranks.
from a magic item. Definitely.
Okay, so you have no free skill points from anything. Okay.
No, I think what happened was last level I put a 5 into the thing because I got confused. So I think I had too many before.
Well, don't forget as well that you guys do get a free what's it called? Favored class bonus.
What does that get?
I think use the half elf one, which is plus 1/4 customization points.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So right now you have 1.5 bonus customization points, which rounds down to 1. So
yes,
whatever the customization. Go ahead.
Oh, do I have that added? Let me do math.
Probably.
I think I have that added because I think I was excited about that last time.
Remember, your Psi Crystal Affinity reduces the number of customization points you gain by 1. But then that racial feature brings it back up.
Yeah, no. The Crystal Warrior so far brings it down 2 total. 1 for Energy Blast, 1 for Psi Crystal Affinity.
I see.
So that would take it. Yeah, no, that's correct because it take it to 7, then plus 1 for the bonus. Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Next level, I get 2 instead of 1, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, next level you also get the Psi Crystal Shot.
That is going to be just the fact that it can attack using my Bab. Even though it's got low dex, just using my Bab alone makes it just having 2 extra shots a turn.
It has the ability to apply aid if need be, but does it have to be near you?
It's part of my suit.
No, I know, but does it have to be in your suit to do it, or can it do it from across the way?
When
it's consumed by the astral suit, yeah. So yeah. When you suppository,
it's part of my suit. Yeah, that's why it's using my Bab. Essentially it's going to be a little turret on my shoulder.
Yeah, it's kind of like pops up.
Pretty much.
Which is hilarious. Which means, by the way, you get 4 attacks next level. Sorry, 2 more attacks next level.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. That's when I really start becoming that rapid fire ranger.
Yeah. All right, cool. Any other abilities? So, Jake, obviously, what's your favorite class bonus that you get every level?
Yes.
You know, it could be something useful, like you can get an extra extract. I think humans and every other class do, but the one I get is just absolute trash.
So you don't use that one because it's a splash weapon. No. So you probably just get the bonus skill point or what have you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to open Viggo back up. There you are.
Yeah, I took the bonus skill point.
Oh, is that all it is? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to point out that those extra shots still 2d8 plus dex. So that's essentially 4d8 extra a turn. I'm excited.
In theory.
In theory. That's if they land. They're obviously going to be a lot harder to land.
Also, you don't necessarily always want to use it either, so.
That's true, yeah.
So you have 1 more skill point to spend then, Jake. Did you expand it? Did you add skills into any new skills yet?
I got disabled device.
I think so. I think I just increased.
Well, didn't you recently have to make checks inside skills that you previously weren't even trained in? Oh no, because you have at least 1 knowledge rank in all knowledge skills.
Except for planes, I haven't put anything in planes yet.
Man, the fact that you get to add your intelligence twice to all knowledge skills is broken as fluff.
That is so strong. I love it.
It's good.
I love just having you here because it means I get to be dumb. I can focus on hit thing many time big hard. That sounds weird.
Nice. Nice. Big hard indeed, baby. Maybe more spellcraft isn't such a bad thing for you.
I was thinking that, and then I thought, what's something Viggo has been doing consistently? And then I thought, he really likes fake mustaches, so I was thinking about putting that point in disguise.
There you go. I mean, it's not a class skill for
What
you,
about
unfortunately,
idea?
but
Nah.
Well, I just put a point into disable device so I can finally start actually using my dex to my advantage.
And spellcraft does make more sense, though. I'm not gonna lie.
but this would bring your modifier to a +1. It's starting to net you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Were you?
The difficult decisions.
Guys at a +0 before. That's amazing.
He had to put a rank in it to get to +0. Yeah.
That's what everything that puts everything into perspective now. Oh, I actually kind of love that.
The spell gives me a +10 though. So.
What spell? Oh yeah. All right. What spell did you choose for your free one that you get this level? And is there any new fun things you get, Jake? Tesh.
I just get Big Abab, so I can attack twice a turn, and some skills and some points. I now have a really solid fort and will save. I have nine fort, 8 will save, so that's real nice.
Well, Trailblazer gave you another increases your half level to survival more.
That's a good point. That changes to 3 now. Yeah.
Yeah, but the you didn't put any more points inside of survival, did you?
No, because I have half. If you look at
yeah, so it's 3 total. Yeah, I see it.
I have like half level to identify tracks.
Correct. So it's a +9 is kind of what it adds up to. From a 6 to 3 more is a 9.
Do I get? Actually, I might get some extra stuff on stealth as well. No, that's to some traps, which is disable device. I get half my class. I should add that. Half my class to perception checks made to locate and disable traps.
Okay.
Disable half.
You had half your levels of stealth checks as long as you maintain psionic focus and have an astral suit active.
Yeah, half level.
And trap finding, which you just mentioned.
Trap. And then perception half level to locate trap.
I have to pee really bad. Okay, and then we have Aegis itself. Bab, customization points, powers per day. You got a couple more power points, which is nice. So it's 9 plus, 6, so 15 power points. And unfortunately, you haven't had time to look over those crystals that you got either.
Yeah.
Same with the magic items we got. We just have not had time to identify them.
Yeah.
Oh, I do get half level, so I get an extra point to stealth as well. That's nice. I'll just add those onto the suits. That way, it's easier to manage.
I do actually have what those crystals are. Like, I actually have a sheet that you can't see called Crystals Off the Loper that has like what all of them are, as well as links to see what they are and what have you. So, for when you eventually do identify them. But moving on. All right, I think that kind of finishes up everything for you guys.
I like that my my astral juggernaut even gets the extra stealth.
Nice. It's like, oh, now we only roll the +0. And Neil's technically a cavalier, I think.
I think that's everything. Yeah, because those just a bunch of harsh level things. What's really interesting is I can take a favored terrain as a customization.
That's cool.
I get +2 bonus initiative checks, knowledge, geography, perception, and stealth and survival. So it might be worth. Would urban be a terrain?
Urban is technically a terrain, yes.
That might be worth taking whenever we're in a city for like an extended time.
Neil gets a bonus feat at 6th level, as well as full BAB, so he gets another attack.
Oh, he does? That's awesome.
Yeah, so he gets his BAB goes up, his all of his saves go up, and then he gets a bonus feat as well, which is nice. So he'll have to choose a bonus feat. Nothing from his archetype though, but bonus feat for his what we call it. And then I'm sure maybe some of his other class features kind of tick up as well. But the bonus feat is the really nice part.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Perfect.
That is really nice.
I don't know if he had any notes of what bonus feat he was going to do next.
So does he get that feat and then another feat next level like everyone else does?
Yes, and then as a his archetype.
Oh damn.
His archetype gets another feat at 8th level as well. Yeah, so
damn, he's gonna be a feat machine.
Yeah, and last level he got a feat as well. So, yeah.
If I get how many?
So what was that? 4 levels in a row of feats, I think, right? One.
That's insane.
1, 2, 3, 4 levels in a row of feats. Yeah. No. Josh is not being very nice. Right? Like, look at him scowling the entire session.
Ooh. If I pick up that psionic body thing next level, Scott, that straight up gives me 12 HP.
That's the one that we talked about you waiting and getting later on.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. That jump makes it so you're that much more durable.
Yeah. And then if I continue to get psionic stuff in the future,
psionic body counts as a feat
in
and of itself. You know that? Did you
yeah, I'm counting it.
Okay.
I'm counting it.
I overspoke.
It'll be 10 without it. It would be 10 without it. But like then if I continue to get psionic feats in the future, it'll also like every psionic feat comes with a bump to health.
Yep. And +2 is nothing to sneeze at either. So.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, I definitely found that out.
Yeah. So clicking on your character sheet real quick, you currently are at what 51 max HP, which
51. Yeah.
Obviously, your current HP doesn't tick up, but your max HP did obviously.
Yeah.
So next,
I didn't
level,
change any of the current stuff.
Next level, if you grabbed that, it would be more or less a 1d8 plus 14 is how much your max HP would go up. So you'd be
that's a lot.
On average, let's say like a 19 increase would bring you up to 70 health. That'd be huge. So
that'll be real nice. I can stop nearly dying every combat.
Yeah. And if Jake
combats either go I annihilate or I nearly die. There's no in between.
Maybe next level Jake also figures out how to graft onto you more or less by doing a graft. It gives you a psionic feat. That'd be nice. Right?
That'd be very cool.
Because grafts can give like baseline abilities or can give feats and whatnot when you look at all the grafts that exist in the system prior. So we're just gonna find the way.
That's really fucking cool.
Jake will have to let me know if that's an avenue he's genuinely thinking about going down. In which case, then we can
100%.
You want
100%.
Graft things?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's really.
It fits his character.
I'll look into it and see what I can get back to you with. Okay, cool. Well, I think
oh my god, we're gonna become Space Marines.
I think we all leveled up, except for Neil, who he can do it between this session and next session, and then he can just roll his HP at the beginning of next session. We'll start off with the soldier having walked up and been like, jabby, let's go. So we'll do that next session and kind of like.
This is actually perfect because he's going to be just as confused as his character would be.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Like we won't even recap him on what's happened. We'll literally be like, your character wakes up from when you went to sleep. This is what's happening, right?
Whoa.
And that allows us to kind of jump into it a little bit quicker rather than having to re-explain everything to Neil because you have to in-game explain it to him. Cool. All right. We can get out of here because I think we're done. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. That will be all for everybody. Is there somebody we can raid today? Yeah, let's go raid. Oh, wait, funny enough, they're actually playing Pathfinder Kingmaker. So what the fuck? Let's go.
Oh, cool.
Let's go raid the Dracovan Empire. Let's go raid
Tantus.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours. We like friends. All right, I'm gonna bounce so I can run upstairs and go pee. That's so bad.